Either win or die.
Oh, that's great.
When you play
Great,
the Game
great.
of Thrones,
Yes.
you win or you die.
Yes,
I've got it already.
yes.
Oh, wicked.
I love it. I've got
Mike's
this
like,
thing.
I've already fucking said that, bitch.
I've always got this thing about when,
Oh, do you know
when
what
a
my fa-
show or a film says the title. I always
Yeah.
go, yes!
It will just like roll credits. Game over. Right, streams up. Host.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yes. Peter.
Twitch, chat.
Yes.
You know what I'm going to ask?
I'm on it.
Okay.
Oh, it's on. It's working. We're live.
I'm on it.
Yep.
Ickles.
Yeah, because he put 10.
Okay.
We live. We live.
Live.
I wonder if we'll have anybody jump in.
Time to yeah. I'll tweet it out as well in a minute. If I can. Yeah, there we go.
Show has.
Sweet, yeah.
Why did I think I just looked at that? But the show has no spoilers. I saw the word "no" for some reason. I was like, "What?"
So, Mark, are you putting this onto your channel as well? Are you?
No.
No.
I was just going to just upload the audio to our podcast feed.
Okay.
And if Mike wants a copy, I can send Mike a copy for VG if he wants one.
Nah.
Nah.
It's not because it's just I can't be bothered. And it's it's your thing. I'll just tell everybody to download your shit. What about mine?
It's a lazy shit.
Oh, yeah. What? We'll be hosting you.
It
I
is.
thought. Just let me double check. So we always host.
Hey everyone, Chinny, the better looking and all round better host of the VG, is on the crappy Entertainerds. No, I'll take crappy out. Terrible. No. Fucking no, I'll just put Entertainerd.
Fucking wank. I thought you were gonna say.
That's what I put in the show. Like, it's on the Entertainerds. No capitals.
Apparently, there's Game of Thrones Oreos, and I'm
Listen,
like, what makes them Game of
yeah.
Thrones Oreos?
How do you host?
They've got blood inside them.
I think you
I
can
was gonna-
auto-host somewhere. There's some options
There's
somewhere.
blood inside them, or is there incest?
It should
inside?
auto host already, but
Game of Thrones. Spoiler cast.
Oh, what's Greg doing?
Shh. Shh. Just pay no attention to that.
how do you host? Anyone know how to host a stream?
You go
You-
to your chat and you put /host,
That's what
Yeah.
I was
and then
gonna
the
say.
name.
Or you can go into your channel settings and it's actually on your dashboard, the
It's
creator
like
dashboard.
auto host, doesn't it?
Mm.
And you add them.
God damn it.
Okay.
Keyboards are doing me in right now, apparently.
I don't think that's working.
I'd like to have an Oreo that has a dragon design on it. I'm assuming that's going to be one of the designs on them.
Who knows? All right.
Yeah, you got to do it in your own channel, Mark.
Have I? Nope.
Yeah, that in your
Yeah,
own
Mark.
channel.
Oh, no. Oh, all right. Okay.
Do that in your own channel chat, Mark. Do that in your own channel chat, Mark.
All right. Okay.
You tell us when you're done, Mark. No pressure. Then we'll start.
Mark,
Free
do it
Patronus.
now.
Quick.
Hosting is
Come
so
on,
much
Mark.
easier on mobile.
Fucking hell.
It's supposed to auto host anyway. Oh, hang on. Auto host.
Oh, fuck.
I had to follow you guys in order to watch. What the fuck?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's
I don't follow the shows that I'm on.
Oh, it says unable to host.
Uh-oh.
You must
You
already
gotta-
be hosting.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, right. Yeah.
Oh,
Let's carry on.
Anyway, all right.
Winter is coming.
Yeah, got to move on.
Let's start.
Cheers, Sean.
Shh. Shut up.
Is this the Nintendo podcast?
Hello, one and all, and welcome to a special episode of the Entertainers podcast. Tonight, we're talking about nothing but Game of Thrones. It's not our regular show, so if you want to avoid hearing anything about Game of Thrones, come back next week for episode 61. I'm Pete, your host tonight, and joining me on the show are our very own Cole Palmer,
Yeah.
Katie Stubbs.
Hello.
Spinning the decks for us tonight is the guru of tech and co-host from the OC podcast, Mr. Mark Annix.
Hold on.
across the sea, and here with us during his afternoon break, which is an absolute pleasure. By the way, Greg, as this is, I think, our first podcast together. It's the general of the OC podcast, Mr. Greg DeLacy.
Where am I? What is this? What's going on?
You
What?
just got to say hello. Right, moving on. And, and a man that needs no introduction, really, because his own voice is known worldwide. And with all of his band of snooker fan followers, and he's also part of the trio from Veteran Gamers, it's my dear brother, Mike Chin.
Good evening.
Hello. Right, this show tonight will have 5 segments, which we hope you listeners will enjoy. And hopefully this show should last between 90 minutes and 5 hours. It will have debates, so it could go on. We hope this show will give everyone the opportunity to thrash out what they think of the show, so please expect bad language, frustration, and high ratings, possibly. We've been looking forward to this to doing this show for a while now, so let's get started. Mark.
Yeah.
That's that. Right.
I got goosies. Did anybody else get
Yeah.
goosies? I got
Little
goosies.
bit.
We just got to think we won't ever hear that theme tune again.
Yeah, you will. I'll play it again if you want.
Just type it into YouTube,
That's
Casey.
awesome.
What's the
You
matter
know
with you?
what I mean.
Right
I know
then.
what you mean.
Okay.
I've got a tear in my eye.
So, just before the end of the actual show itself, we put out a couple of posts asking for everybody's predictions. So we'll go through in order on the show notes, and hopefully we can maybe have some discussion on that. This is going to be an as-led show. It's not got any real solid structure to it, so it might go off on a tangent a little bit, but
Fuck off.
Oh. And yeah, some of these sound bites that Mark's going to drop in because he's downloaded loads of them. Okay, Katie, give us your predictions.
Well, I put in my notes that, and this kind of goes with the penultimate episode as well, is that I thought that Arya would be the one to kill Cersei to begin with. I thought she was going to kill Cersei because she's always been on her list. And then after we obviously see Jaime get killed, I thought, okay, my plan in my head's coming together. And I thought she was going to come along, take Jaime's face,
Yes, that's
Kill
what I thought as well.
and kill Cersei. It didn't happen. So much to my disappointment, that didn't happen. Other things I guess that I thought were going to happen was that Jon was, the way it happened in my head, that Jon would kill Dany. Jon or Arya would kill Dany. That's what I thought in my head, that after what she did, she wasn't going to live through the last episode, much to my sadness, because I thought, like, we've seen her throughout the whole show, and she's been one of my favourite characters, and, you know, she just had this tragic fall, I feel like, at the end, and I couldn't see her coming out of it alive. I would have been very, very surprised if she did. So I guess I got that prediction right, that Jon killed her. And then I thought Jon would have been on the throne, to be honest. I thought he would have put aside his need to not be king, to not want to be king, and, you know, taken his place on the Iron Throne, you know, accepted his true lineage, but it wasn't to be.
Oh.
Everything else kind of, I guess, when you look at the last episode and what kind of happened with everyone else, I guess, you know, that's what I expected everyone. So sorry, apart from Bran, that's what I expected everyone everyone else to go, like Sansa becoming Queen of the North. I didn't, there were people saying they expected her to come down and take power, take the Iron Throne. I thought, no, because I don't think she wants to be Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. I thought she wanted to be in the North because she's a Northerner, so I felt like that's where she always belonged. Arya has said in previous episodes that she wanted to travel, so I wasn't surprised that that's where she wanted to go. She wanted to go and be a pirate, I guess. Yeah, but Brienne took her place in the King's Guard. Tyrion was handed the king, things like that. So a lot of the characters did end up where I suspected they would have ended up. But yeah, there were a few things I guess I predicted that didn't turn out the way I wanted them to, or the way I thought they would pan out. But yeah, that's what I've got.
Well, that's the old thing beyond predictions. You're going to get most of them wrong anyway, especially with a show like this. And it looks like Arya's face changing was a common thing. Carl? He's on mute.
Yeah, well, I was just taking a sip of water. It is water. Yeah, I must admit, I thought Arya would kill Cersei as well. I thought she'd use Jaime's face to do it, or some way of getting close to her, and put the knife in. And all of the training was kind of leading up to that. You've had a bit of a dry run through it before, and I thought, definitely she set off with some purpose from Winterfell, and you thought, yeah, it's going to happen. I also thought that Jon would be the one who killed the Night King, and again, it's a bit of misdirection, I thought that was the way his character was going. Obviously, come back from the dead, and so that was a little bit of a surprise. I did expect something to happen between Jon, Dany, and Sansa. I expected like a bit of a three-way rivalry, with Jon being torn between his sister and the woman that he loved and / aunt. But I kind of imagined it being more. I don't know, more grand. I thought because he had a thing, obviously, the connection with the dragons, being a Targaryen, and it was one of those kind of scenes that was playing out in my mind. I thought, yeah, Dany can have a dragon, and Jon, one of the dragons, can be faithful to Jon, and they'd be having this huge fight in the sky. And but it didn't quite go the way I thought it was, but I thought more people would die. I think the whole fight with the undead, I was expecting that to be a bit more brutal than it actually was in terms of some of the main characters going at that point. And I was expecting, look, at the end of season 7, when Tyrion's kind of talking to Cersei and he makes a deal with her, and I thought that deal, it would be like a double crossing Jon or somebody, with like the army that would march forth from King's Landing and kind of wait for the battle to pan out with the undead, and then attack Winterfell and try and crush him. But again, yeah, I definitely thought there was something in there with Tyrion betraying Jon, because I thought the way that season 7 ended out, I did really think that he'd made a deal with the devil.
Interesting, because I just don't see Tyrion as the betraying type. I can't, for some reason. Even
try to tell that to Varys.
Ooh, burn. Literally.
But I felt like he doesn't seem to want to betray people for bad intentions, if that makes sense. Like, I felt like he had good intentions when he, quote unquote, betrayed Varys by, dobbing him in. But, no, fair enough.
Carl, is that you?
That's me, mate.
All right, okay. Well, myself, I thought that Arya Stark would kill Stannis. I thought, yeah, when she got on that horse, after that town got obliterated, I thought she's gunning for that girl.
She did have a mean face on her as well when she was making her speech in the final episode, and she was just staring daggers into her when she was making that.
She was completely pissed, but I thought that she would kill her. And after Daenerys had died, Jon would refuse the throne, because I don't know what it is with Jon Snow. Ever since that third episode, he ended up being a bit of a wet lettuce, and I don't know. He kind of lost his bottle, didn't he? He just almost gave up on everything. So I just thought he'd refuse the throne and travel to the north anyway, which is not far off what happened, I think. Bran would end up under that tree with that thoughtless look on his face, because he's an absolute pile of shit.
Fucking Bran.
Oh man, what a complete waste of time that kid was in that TV series. No.
Why do you think I've come all this way? Fuck off, Bran. Just like, you can't What, like you walk out. There's one bit where what's the fact? I don't call them by their names because I can't be bothered. But the fat one, right? He comes out. The
Sam.
fat kid.
Sam,
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah.
He comes out and he sees Bran and he just bums him out. He's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? Like he looks at Bran. Bran's looking at him. And he's like, I can't fucking. Why are you here? Fuck off, right? And like, how effective of a king is he? He's like, yeah. Oh, what is it? Bran, do you want to grab some breakfast? Does anybody want to have breakfast? Bran, you know what? Fuck off and just push him away. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, he's rolling down the hill. Oh fuck! Oh, never mind.
He's like a poor man's emperor, isn't he? You know,
Yeah.
he just
That one, come in, Bran.
You say that, but I could see. Well, I guess we'll get into that, but I could see why. But like after watching, obviously the initial impression of the episode, I was like, okay, Bran being on the throne. I didn't expect that, but then after like having a week, I guess, to contemplate it, I could see why, maybe through Tyrion's assessment. But I guess we'll get into that.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Well, I thought Sansa would rule the Seven Kingdoms, as Jon refused the throne. She was desperate. She wanted to be a queen of something. You could just see there was that long, awkward relationship between her and the Targaryen. And I just thought,
freaking bitch face a lot of the time
Yeah.
from Sansa and that. That's one of the bits that pissed me off. I'm like, come on, just give her a fucking break.
a break, yeah.
A little bit.
But she's ruthless though, isn't she?
Yeah,
and, and quite rightly so with how she's been treated. But and I think she wanted to obviously maintain her the family heritage and them looking after the North. But she managed to get what she wanted in the end.
Just to let you know, Antonio is in the chat and he said, "What up, you freaking nerds?" And I don't know how to say his name. I'm going to call him Grievous Bodily Harm.
Nice.
Grievatron or something.
Grievatron, yeah.
Says hello. So that's it. Oh, and there's Abog Skippy Nix. Says yeah, what up?
Hello.
And that's an interesting name with 2 X's in it. Interesting use of the letter X. Doesn't get used enough. Congratulations and welcome to the chat, as you were.
That's my brother. He jumps in now and again as he does. So you can't
I'm doing
fault
what
him.
you asked me, Pete.
I know, yeah, I know.
Miss you, Mike.
What was that, Greg?
I said I do miss Mike.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love him to bits.
Always been a cunt.
There we go. See, I did say that there was going to be bad language.
I didn't know our dad was in here, Pete.
That was actually Mom.
Is it right?
I thought we'd have a sign of the White Walkers as well to show a possible return for a spin-off in future. I mean, they just all went too quick for me. I know they had to. I suppose they had to go when the Night King was killed, but some sign of some return of something dead.
But then I just feel like everyone, if that happened, I think people probably would have said, "Why the fuck did the White Walkers get killed so quickly?" Then just for them to come back like that, or something like that. I don't know, but.
Yeah. And the other thing I've predicted that Tyrion would be executed by Grey Worm for his treason, which I'm sure we'll go into that later on anyway. Yeah, I wasn't too happy about that. But anyway, Mark?
Well, first off, I want to play this because this is just for you, Pete.
Fuck off. I don't give 2 shits about wildlings. It's gingers I hate.
Right, so I predicted Danny would kill Jon because there were a lot of tension between Danny and Jon when she found out that he was his nephew.
Danny was more into it though.
Yeah, because he rejected it, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't want it.
He backed off.
I don't want it.
I'll just send a raven.
I don't want it.
Yeah, so I thought she might have even killed him. Because she knew that Jon had more right to the throne than she did.
I think Danny wants the boingy boing though, Mark.
Yeah.
That's sex for you, Carl. Just the boingy boing means sex. Okay.
You want to suck my dick, is that it?
Yeah, she wants a bit of dick.
You want to suck my dick, is that it? Dick?
Oh.
Cock? Ah, dick. I like it. Bet you do.
Wow.
So I also thought Arya would have killed Danny wearing Grey Worm's face because
Grey Worm.
Yeah, because of what happened in King's Landing, Grey Worm was instrumental in the slaughter.
Yeah.
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 I
So I
fucking-
thought she might. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I do like Grey Worm, and I can understand why he was just hell bent on revenge. Like all he could see was revenge was because the love of his life had been killed.
Yeah.
But I still freaking hated him in that last episode, you know, because he
Yeah.
was just so hell bent on, you
Yeah.
know, just taking anybody out at that point.
But he's loyal to his queen.
Yeah, exactly. I know that's why I thought she might use his face because she'd have been able to get close to Danny.
Mm.
As for Cersei, I originally wanted Arya to kill her wearing Jaime's face, like you said, Katie. But then later, I just wanted her just to get barbecued by Drogon.
Yeah.
But even that didn't happen. And I didn't expect Danny to go absolutely fucking nuts and completely burn everyone to a crisp in King's Landing. I didn't expect that at all. And Bran was the last person I expected to be king. I thought it'd be either Sansa or even possibly Gendry, because he had Baratheon lineage. So and he'd just been made a lord as well by Danny in the previous episode or two before. Because I knew John didn't want it because he knows nothing. So yeah, I didn't think he'd want it.
Is that you, Mark?
Yeah, that's it. Me, yeah.
Brother?
Thank you, brother. I was what I put in my text words were I will say overall I was disappointed with this season. I don't hate it. I was just going into fucking talking about it, but basically everything died so quick, and the Night Walkers and stuff. I thought, I didn't put this in the text, but fuck it, right? So I thought a good thing would be Arya stabbed King Knight, right? Pachow. That's the noise that it would have made, all right? And then he would have died, and everybody just assumed that killing the Night King would kill everything else, all right?
Yeah.
And I thought it would have been cool if this killed the King of Gays or whatever he is. Like he's very camp. He's very camp, and which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And he kills Camp Dracula, and then he's dead. Then all the other White Walkers are still alive.
Yeah,
right?
that would have been holy fuck.
Holy
shit, we're fucked.
Well, what the fuck do we do now? But maybe they don't come back or something, so now they start to die or something like that. That's what I would have liked. Because I honestly thought they would have lost Winterfell on that fight. That's what I was expecting. And then they kind of had to go down to King's Landing and be like, yo, Queen bitch. And she'd be like, yo, what? And you'd be like, we need to get in. Nah, soz. But then they let them in or something. And then I say in my predictions, Jon Snow will kill the Dragon Woman, which happened. And then everybody would be like, yo, Jon, take the throne. And he'd be like, no, I don't want it. And maybe one of the younger Starks will step in and take it.
You were right in that respect.
Pretty much true. I was a bit vague.
Yeah, but he couldn't step in really, could he? He wielded.
No.
Have to just throw him on it.
No, yeah. Well, do you think I came all this way? Shut up, bro. No one. I don't know even. Like King's Landing's not even wheelchair accessible. How did you get here? You're full of shit. You're full of shit. Yeah. So I was I was on the mark with the Dragon Woman. She had to die after what she did. But what I liked, I think what everybody liked about the early seasons of Thrones was is how unpredictable it was, and I think towards the end of the seasons, it kind of started to wrap things up in a nice bow a little bit too nicely. It started with like Stannis dying and the Battle of the Bastards, and kind of like things started, because the very first 4 seasons were pretty grim for all the decent characters, and it's all come around. But the Battle of the Bastards and Stannis's kind of end was really, really satisfying, and all the others were not. So I don't know. That was my prediction. I really didn't. I was so shocked. I honestly thought the dragon would. I thought there would be a big fight on that last episode, and it just turned out to be
Fan service.
like a fucking just Sunday afternoon in Westeros. You know, I mean, nothing happened. Like everybody just kind of went home, fucked off, and did nothing. And I was just like, wow, nothing happened. It was so boring, and I honestly thought when some shit's gonna kick off. Like he's just killed Danny, the dragon woman. The dragon's gonna be pissed off,
Yeah.
and he's gonna like fuck shit up. And then the Unsullied, who basically you can chop their nipples off and they don't even cry, all right? And they fucking kill anything standing. They don't give a shit. And then they go, we better put John in jail. And I'm like, what the fuck? They should have chopped his dick off, like, for what he did.
Yeah, I definitely expected John to die straight away after he killed Danny because Drogon came over the cliff. I thought he's gonna burn him.
Yeah, or like a big fight, all right, John somehow gets out of that, and then Riley Ritchie.
You got to remember that John walks past Drogon. There's no one there.
No one there. Yeah, but there is a dragon. There is a dragon. Like that dragon.
The dragon takes the corpse away. Like, unless John admitted to it.
Yeah, anyway, we're gonna go
I
into.
Never thought of that. He could have just gone.
See,
where did Danny go?
Mike,
the dragon took her off. Yeah.
Mike,
He could have just lied.
Grey
I'll
Worm
shut
called
the fuck
CSI in.
everyone, shh. We're gonna be talking about season 8 in the next one.
All right.
Okay. Right. We've saved the best host till last, Greg.
I don't know about that, but I will say. So I went back through some of the predictions I was making, because we had a WhatsApp chat group going about Game of Thrones and leading up to it. So I did have a few predictions. I did predict Dany would die at the hands of Jon, but I really thought it was going to play out with more of a battle. That they literally were going to take sides, and there was going to be a much bigger fight, and unfortunately that didn't happen, and they kind of had this very anticlimactic death for her. So I did think they telegraphed a bit of her going by the way of the Mad King. I thought pretty much all throughout, especially this last season, It was clear she was going that route, and I was really disappointed how fast they moved that along. Because I really thought, she kind of went from, I love you, Jon, and even though I'm your aunt, I still love you, to I'm Hitler, and I'm going to tell everybody what they need to think. And it was Hitler episode, and I thought they could have at least done. They probably could have filled a full season if they really wanted to, in terms of that whole story arc and her changing and everybody kind of seeing it but not knowing to do about it. So, yeah. Anyway. Cersei and Jaime's death, I didn't see coming in that way, and it honestly was just so disappointing to me, the way they handled that. I thought that was horrible. I did actually joke around about Bronn becoming king right leading up to the final episode airing. I didn't think it was possible in any way, just because it was such a stupid storyline, and then they did it.
Yeah. So. In the chat, Wormy N says, "Hello, my name is Nick." And I love Game of Thrones. And then he tries to put in a little joke and make me read the word cunt, but I ain't going to do it. He said, did you know that my cunt is in it? So, Nice try, Wormy End. You ain't getting me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so those are pretty much my predictions. I will save my thoughts for the rest of the show.
Okay.
Very professional, Greg. That's very professional.
Yes, it is. It is.
And amateur would have just rambled on.
Yeah.
Actually covering predictions and then saving, talking about, just reading.
Hey, Greg. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, other listeners, family, friends, people we know have put predictions in, and Carl's going to give us the read upon that.
Good call.
Okay. So we got Tim Paul in. Game of Thrones, holy sheet music. I always thought Arya would kill Cersei, but now maybe she'll kill Dany after Dany kills Sansa. And let's be honest, no one is safe aside from Jon. He's the Rick Grimes of Game of Thrones. Obviously, Tyrion is my second favourite. Thirdly, Braun. Oh, bit of a sneaky preview of something else there. Leica at Leica29. Bran wakes up in the tower at Winterfell with Summer sleeping at the bottom of his bed. It was all a dream. Well, they did that for Dallas in the 1980s.
That would have been pretty good.
It just makes me think of everyone saying Rick Grimes should just wake up from his coma.
You actually said that, didn't you, Greg? Yeah. If I did it all as a dream, you'd fucking go. You'd absolutely flip or something.
You would have been, but then compared to what we got, maybe who knows? Richard Natras, Game of Thrones predictions. I have no fucking idea, and a smiley emoji. Cheers, Nat. Yeah, great contribution. Terry Taylor at Terry Taylor 19. The White Wedding. Dany and Jon to wed while the Starks plan a Targaryen massacre. Dany tells Jon she's pregnant. He tries to stop assassin Arya and fails as she butchers a pregnant woman.
Oh God, not another one.
That could have been good though. But again, it's already been done, hasn't it?
Yes.
We've got Christian at Zoom 00. Is that Zoom 0099? Sumu 99. A place in my top 5 all-time TV shows. Wow, was on a course to rival The Leftovers and Breaking Bad, but once they got past the books, I feel that they're guarding a rudderless ship, and the show became a burden that the Double Ds didn't want. I'm enjoying the epicness of the final season, as long as you leave your brain at the door. Good one. Prediction that Dany tries to kill Jon, but Drogon refuses. Tyrion to kill Dany, and nobody to sit on the Iron Throne. Final shot of some dragon eggs for the cycle to start all over again. Just hope that R.R. Martin finishes the final 2 books as they're so superior. Have any of us actually read the books, by the way? Just over.
I've read part of the. I've read part of the first one, but watching the show and it now finishing, I actually have been interested to see if I can probably get them on Audible or something like an audio book format, because I would be quite interested.
I got to page 4.
I do jest, but I did once look at it on Amazon.
Fuck off.
No, just look at it. That's about as far as I got. Yeah, read the title and went, fuck that.
Recommended for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've listened to them several times on my post round. At least we got the Cleggan Bowl that was like a scene from the Highlander. Look forward to hearing the show. Love my telly. And then we've got Ross, Pete's nephew. Well, there's been a clue in the 2nd or 3rd season. Bran had 3 visions. One of the Mad King, one of a dragon's shadow over the houses, and one of snow falling on the throne. So I'd say Jon will take the throne. Plus last week, Arya got on a white horse. In the Bible, death rides on a white horse. So I guess she's going to kill Dany.
He's a deep thinker. He's a deep thinker, that boy.
Yeah. A deeper thinker than the writers, apparently. Edwin B. Dany burning King's Landing because she was all alone. Screen face. But I think there's a chance she knows that she will get killed for the greater good, or she just wants to rule thinking that the young generations will love her. I hope Arya doesn't die and Sansa doesn't take over or gains the throne. Sadly, I think Dany and Tyrion are going to die in the last episode, and I think Jon will kill Dany, becoming Aegon Targaryen, and Aegon will lead us to a peaceful and happy ending. Just wonder if Jon/Aegon will do anything about Sansa as a Targaryen. And we've got Steve, Pete's work buddy from almost 20 years ago. My predictions for the last episode are fairly simple. After what went down in the last episode with Daenerys going base mental on a dragon, Arya will put her top on her list, subsequently killing her and ascend to the Iron Throne. All the Lannisters will not see the end credits, with Jaime being taken out by Brienne and Cersei by Tyrion before he takes his own life.
Damn.
Oh, man. Okay. The Starks will prevail with Jon going back to the North Wall. Ooh. Okay.
I'm glad that didn't pan out. I wouldn't have been able to cope with Tyrion taking his own life. That would have killed me, I think.
It's better than being on that fucking panel deciding what to do as a captive.
Yeah. I was like, how many brothels do we need?
Oh, God. Now we've got Shell, Pete's better half. Arya Stark would kill the Dragon Queen disguised as Jon Snow, but then be killed by the dragon as it senses Arya isn't Targaryen. Jon to be the king of all the 7 kingdoms, and Tyrion was going to get killed by the dragon for treason.
Just going on that, right? I think Shell's missed an important fact there, Pete, because if she kills the Dragon Queen disguised as Jon Snow, that means she'd have to take Jon's face off, which means killing him. And she won't kill her own brother, would she?
But what if the dragon had just
his face?
No, what if the dragon had just like blew her up and then would he still be dead? Yeah, he would do, wouldn't he?
What if she found a Jon Snow look-alike?
Yeah.
And went down that route.
I mean, she could wear one of them cardboard cutout masks. They're pretty realistic, aren't they?
That was literally one
Nintendo.
of the episodes in Walking Dead. They pretty much did that. They just found a head that kind of looked like Rick's and went, just show that to Negan and he'll fucking believe it. It doesn't matter.
I think we can cut Shell some slack here.
Yeah, and in all fairness, Jon has come back from the dead once before, so who knows?
True.
Then we've got Beth, Shell and Pete's fam. I did guess Danny would follow in the Mad King's footsteps in the last season. I think there were a few clues, especially killing off Missandei and Sajora, the only two people who could have talked some sense into her. Although I always thought John would end up being king, and I was surprised with the ending. We've got lastly Matt, Beth's boyfriend, was hoping that John would defy Danny. She sentenced him to publicly die. Drogon then got the job of burning John for him to rise up out of the flames so people could see that he wasn't burnt because of his Targaryen blood. Everyone sees it and find out John's true origin, name him as king, Bran to then take control of the dragon so Danny doesn't burn the lot down. Some varied stuff in there.
Yeah, I thought taking control of the dragon was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but instead he just took control of crows and did fuck all. But
I'm going now. Brad, really fucking bad time to go, mate. Really bad. No, I'm going to go on the crows and just look at the view. Like Bran, you fucking idiot, Bran. He's gone.
That's what Theon was like. He was just like, "What? Where are you going?"
Yeah, Theon's like, "Fucking hell, I'll chop my dick off of this."
Well, to be fair, amongst those predictions, some actually pulled off, and others were completely wrong. But there was a good set of predictions, I think, there, and thank you to everyone who's provided them for us and for this show. So, second segment, our thoughts of season 8. This is the one I'm looking forward to the most, I think. So, Katie, kick us off.
Well, we start off positively, yes. I honestly enjoyed it. I wrote in my notes.
Wow, Katie, I used to like you.
Don't start, Mike. Let her talk.
Goodbye. I put as a whole, I didn't enjoy it as much as other seasons gone. That's definitely something I took away from it. I'm like, oh, it's a little. Some of it was anticlimactic. There was other seasons that were just way better. But odd episodes like episode 5, which was the Bells, which was the episode where Danny went mental and just killed everybody. I thought it was beautifully shot and I've lost my train of thought. Brilliantly shot, and it was just epic. I think throughout the whole way through, from the moment the build up I felt to that happening in the episode itself, and then her actually just going mental on the dragon and flaming everybody and flaming everything, and then you had the Clegane Bowl, and then you obviously had the things that happened at the end, and it's just like I really did enjoy that episode. And I know that's the episode that got a lot of shock and a lot of dislike, but I personally freaking loved it. Even though I hated the choices that Danny made in the episode, I loved it. Like, I hated that she had to go down the dark path, putting it very dramatically. But no, overall, I really liked that episode. That'd probably be my favorite episode of the whole season. I would admit it was rushed. I've said that to nearly everybody. I've said that to you guys. I've said that to friends, like close family, friends and family, that yes, rushed, yes, awful, no, in my opinion. It could have done with another full season. As you said, maybe some of the, a season to deal with the White Walkers and the Night King, and then maybe, and then another season to wrap up the Cersei shit, and then, and end it there or something like that. Like maybe another full season, or maybe, and then you could have had like 5 or 6 episodes around next season, but they decided to do it this way. And apart from that, I didn't have a problem with anything else really. I felt the writing was still good for me personally. And yeah, that's really all I could say about it. I enjoyed it, and just not as much as the other seasons, definitely. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay, go.
No, I'm going to be ripped to pieces now.
I think I'm a polar opposite. I was totally disappointed with the season. I felt it was totally rushed. I felt that they could have had a season in between. It just seemed that all the stuff, I get having a shock value and having like, we've got to be unpredictable and give them an ending that no one would predict. But there's so much stuff that just made no sense to me. So I'm just going to run through a really quick list. Lineage.
Carl, I'm just going to ding every time I agree. Okay.
Okay, ding. Yeah. So they made such a big thing about lineage, such a big thing about Jon being a Targaryen, this whole thing about, him coming back from the dead for a purpose of doing, the rightful king, all this stuff. It mattered not at the end. It didn't matter at all. Tyrion stands there with the council and he's like, what makes a good king? We need a king. And they've got the heir to Baratheon, and they've got the heir to Targaryen, both still there. And Tyrion says, "A good story makes a good king." You know, what could be better than the tale of Bran the Broken? You know, the kid who falls out the window and overcomes adversity. Fuck Bran. What about Jon Snow, the guy who dies, comes back to life, can ride a bloody dragon, kills Daenerys, frees everybody? What, like, that's the story. Like, if you're gonna pick, if you're gonna say a story makes a good king, you've got one right there. Cersei, I wanted to die horribly. You know, Arya is going all the way from Winterfell with the Hound. They're riding for days, you know, talking about God knows what. Yet they get there and he says, "You don't want to do this." And she's like, "Oh, thanks, yeah." And fucks off. And not only that, the Hound lets Cersei walk past him. Not even, I mean, you could have saved it then, you know, he could have just said, "Oh, this is from the girl. Killed her, done."
Yeah.
Something.
You should punch her right in the face.
Yeah, punch her right
Just
in the cock.
headbutted her. Just like, puh.
The whole undead battle, I didn't get it. It was too dark. It was too rushed. For some reason, they sent a whole battalion of the Dothraki off to die straight away. They had these trebuchets that they could have just fired off into the distance, but no, you know, they thought they'd fire them on their own people after they sent them to the slaughter. The whole thing just seemed really rushed and really a bit ridiculous. Arya appeared to appear out of nowhere over the top of the king's shoulder and kill him. And
Oh my!
there was nowhere for her to hide. There was literally, like, in that courtyard, it was literally the tree Bran was under, and then completely open space full of the undead. So somehow she leapt. I don't know. The dude was tall, so she's got to be up 10 foot, 11 foot in the air. That didn't make any sense. I think, to be fair, Greg's already covered Dany flipping out. Like, that was just super accelerated, and, you know, yes, there were clues in other episodes, but she also showed a lot of mercy and a lot of restraint. So I didn't quite get that. When Jon killed her, I didn't get the whole thing with Drogon. Like, the dragon's intelligent enough to not kill him, but try and go for the throne. Like, what?
I interpreted that as he's looking, you know, he sees his mother dead on the floor and he thinks, and I feel like he is intelligent enough to think, you know, he looks at the throne and just thinks that's what's caused all this and just thinks, fuck it. That's the way I interpreted it.
You see, I thought when that happened, I thought, actually, maybe Drogon realizes he's the last Targaryen. So maybe all of a sudden then Jon's going to be like, yeah, you know, it was the wrong thing to do, but it was the right thing to do. And then, like, you know, I had this image of Jon getting on the back of the dragon, like the dragon submitting to him, then just all these grand ideas. And I didn't expect it to pick Daenerys' body up and fly away. And then having done that, bearing in mind there was no one around and the place is covered in blood anyway, like, why wouldn't Jon just go, yeah, I haven't seen her? She's your queen, yeah, she's queen, she's flown
He's
off
always
the
been
dragon.
too honourable, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. And then, yeah, Jon was in chains. The Unsullied had Tyrion, and they were like, "This is our city now. This is what's going on. We ain't giving it up." And then one speech later, like, "Oh yeah, we'll go and live on an island. It's all good." And I didn't get that either. And the other thing about that was Sansa's there going, "Yeah, there's a massive army at the gate waiting to take you on. You know, we'll take it by force." Where was that army? Like, they invaded King's Landing with what they had left, and most of them died. So if you compare what the Unsullied were left, where were all the other Norsemen, or the Northerners that were, like, there was thousands of them apparently? I don't get that either. Oh yeah, and lastly, who built the wall? Who rebuilt it? Like, they go north.
That was Dave.
Was it
built the
rebuilt?
wall.
Well, yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yep.
I didn't actually
go back
notice that.
into the north, and it's
Yeah, it
They,
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause we
they've
went through
rebuilt
that-
that giant hole.
That little doorway, what drops down at the end.
yeah, that was in one. That was all
But,
caved in.
Didn't the ice dragon just destroy the end of a wall where
I
where
thought
it's
it
where it's the
destroyed, like,
sea?
the
It
end,
did.
like,
you
yeah.
kind of
Junction
scored it
4.
all there.
Yeah, yeah.
But then
Just
that
past the
whole-
M62.
Yeah, Junction 4.
But that whole
Different.
passageway that they went through, I'm sure that was all
No,
all
that was
caved
at
in.
the other stand. That was at the other place. There's another fucking place by the wall.
East
Oh, the
Watch.
two entrances.
Yeah,
Oh,
Like
okay.
like something like that. That was there. I'm sure it was. That's where
Okay.
that was.
Oh.
I'll take that point back then. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can rant about at the moment. But yeah, fuck Bran.
Okay. All right. Mike,
Can you
stick-
say fuck Bran again, Carl?
Yeah, fuck Bran.
Put that bell away. Right.
All right, go on.
Well, I'm on the fence. because I really enjoyed some parts.
Should have said I'm on the wall, Pete. You missed it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed some parts, but I hated others. Arya Stark didn't use Face's skill at all, did she? She didn't,
No.
and I was really disappointed in that. I thought that, after all that training, that was such a big journey for her in the TV series
Well,
as a whole.
Well, she did kill the phrase using that in the previous season, so it wasn't all to waste.
Yeah, and I feel like she learned other things as well as just how
Yeah.
to steal people's faces. I felt she did learn all the ninja skills that she used to kill the Night King and thing. I don't know. I call it ninja skills because that's basically what it was. Because she was not there, and then the next minute she was.
Yeah, but it's still it
And then
was
you
still
had-
a
and then
big
you went-
thing. that-
Sorry, and then you had the scene when she
Don't be
was-
sorry.
was-
Just let me
Sorry?
finish. No, I'm only joking.
the scene in the library when in the episode when they fought the undead, and it was just no noise, it was quiet, and she was just running around, sliding under the tables and stuff. Yeah, that's also another hint. I think that she's learned more than just put enough faces.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a big thing, a big attribute to a character, that the whole faces thing, and it was just a shame not to see that.
I'm just going to say I'm actually glad they didn't have her use her skills
Okay.
more than they did
Why?
in the fray. Because,
Why?
I mean, if you think about her skills, she could have fucking killed everybody.
Yeah.
She literally was unstoppable if she put all those skills to use.
But do you know the one thing though that really annoys me is nobody has actually seen what she's gone through or knows what she can do as as far as her skills. And I think if somebody would have seen it, if there was some indication that to say that Arya Stark could kill everyone because she's a badass, then I'd say yeah, okay, that's right. But
Yeah.
nobody's seen what she did. Nobody.
They just know that she's changed because of her personality.
Yeah, well, she's obviously picked up some sword skills and whatever on the way, but nobody knows that she's a real badass.
I know that, but that's what made her so dangerous. So I mean, quite frankly, she really could have just killed anybody that stood in the way. She would have been able to get away with it because she could have taken the forms of all these different people with their faces. I mean, she literally could have wiped out any opposition that she wanted to. And so I was glad they actually refrained from doing that. I was glad they didn't have her assume somebody else's face to kill Cersei. I thought that was too obvious. So I was pleased they used some restraint there.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Mm.
I told you there'd be debate. So,
but that whole thing with the white horse, though, I mean, that was all symbolic, and it was giving you an indication of what's going to happen in the next episode, but just nothing happened.
yeah.
That was fucking dumb. That was fucking dumb.
I mean, what did didn't that little girl have a white horse that she was holding as she got set on fire or something like that?
She had like a wooden horse, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was white though.
No, it was black when it was all done.
Damn,
Ah.
damn, girl, you weren't there, girl. Shit.
Shit. The irony of that scene, anyway. So the other thing that really got on my nerves was the third episode, and I think Greg, you said the same thing. It was so dark, and it was awful.
That's me clapping. Yes.
It was awful.
Yeah,
I
get
couldn't make
HDR, you cheap bastard.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad.
Oh, come on.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
enough,
yeah, it was
was.
dark, but it was
No, it
still
was
entertaining.
terrible.
I feel like
It was dark.
once I turned the lights off, I was okay.
I turned
No.
all the lights off. in
Yeah,
the room.
but Katie, you're in your 20s. It's like me and Greg are in our 60s. This,
I had
this,
the varial focus on, yeah.
but for me, this should have been a daytime battle.
It had to be in the night because it's called the long
Long
night.
night, yeah,
It's
it's
Well,
called the
just
night
call
king.
it the long fucking day.
no, it's in the lore of the show of the whole
no,
thing. It's called the long night.
No.
Yes, Greg, it is.
No.
I'm not gonna fucking see it from
Battle of the
California.
Dead. It could be. There could be anything, but they should
I
have
want
done
to
that
hear
in the
what
day.
Greg's gonna say. He
Go
had a
on.
counter.
Because we see in episode 5 how fantastic a battle in the daylight can be with
Yeah.
the dragon cruising around, blowing shit up.
No, it's written in like the lore of the show. In
No,
the lore of the show, in the
Mike,
books,
Mike,
it's like
they-
the long night.
Mike,
and
what was written-
somebody will kill the fucking
the
Night
final
King in
season
the
was-
night.
Well, just do it. Just do it at dusk then, not at fucking midnight.
It was. He did die at
Or,
fucking.
or put some street lamps
dawn,
in.
Sorry, at dawn.
Mike,
Yeah,
please
yeah.
reference the book they used for the final season.
I don't fucking like. No. The
old
no,
nan-
not
the
not
old
the
nan-
not the old fucking books in the fucking show. Not like
Oh.
George. Like the
And-
lore in the show is that the Night King will die in a long night.
Yeah, and the old Nan at the very beginning of the show when she was telling stories to Bran in
Well-
season 1, she would talk about the long night.
Here's an idea. When you film nighttime episodes, sometimes you can actually lighten them up so that people can see things, and
Yeah.
it's still be night.
Yeah, and well, just like the other battle where they lost the dragon, that
Mhm.
I think that was at night.
Right.
And that was as it was clear to watch. It was exciting, and yeah, anyway, that was just one thing that really peed me off. That episode 3. I mean, it was great on a whole, with all of the deaths and what happened, but and there just could have been more substance there. They could have given the viewers a lot more if it was filmed so you could see it. Anyway, episode 3 as well portrayed that pretty much all the Dothraki were the front line and got killed. And in the last episode of the show, there was fucking loads of them that turned up for Daenerys' speech. I don't think you didn't see him at any other point between that, and I was just like, well, that's just a bit weird. I think there was about one or two that come running back. Or
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that it showed. I think maybe 3 at most running back, but I guess
Yeah.
maybe we were just meant to believe that more ran back and we just didn't see.
But there were battalions in that speech, and it was just I don't know, that was weird. Anyway, Bran Stark. I didn't get the whole thing with the crows.
The crows, sorry, I was gonna say he was using them just to see where the Night King was in the sky. That's all I took away from it. I didn't think he was going to use them as weapons or anything.
But it didn't. How did that assist anybody?
It didn't.
Not really.
It was absolute bullshit. It's I don't know.
You know what I
Have
think
you
he
ever
did?
played Call of Duty 4 and put a UAV up?
The
it?
drones,
That's what he
yeah,
was doing.
UAV
Yeah.
online.
You know what I think he did? I think he used one of the crows and then flew into somebody's apartment and watched Netflix. Just chilled out a bit.
That's a good.
That's
yeah.
my prediction.
Okay, that's good. Cersei, I think, needed to suffer more.
Yes.
I
Yes,
think
yes,
her death was just utter crap. She definitely should have suffered. And the whole thing with Tyrion uncovering them when he went to find them, they were almost at the top of the bricks, and he uncovered her with 3 bricks, I think, that he took off them, and he found them. But the whole, like, pretty much the whole building just dropped on him, and he managed to find them with, like, removing 3 bricks. So I didn't get all that.
In fairness, they looked heavy. The bricks.
Yeah. He's got small hands.
I was just going to say that there were big bricks, or he had small hands. One or the other.
It's like when you're in a hotel and they've got little soap and you feel like a giant.
Jon Snow killing Dany, I think was just wrong as well. Her death should have also been dramatic, I thought, and even when he stabbed her, the acting from her and that little scene, I just didn't like it. I don't know. The whole decision making at the end, Tyrion was a captive, and for me, why has he got any influence on what should be decided across the 7 kingdoms? And there was a couple of people within that group that I just didn't even recognise at all. There was the Stark's uncle, and I've never seen him in season 8 at all. And all of a sudden, he's on the council and trying to stand up and.
Okay.
We've had this discussion before.
We've had this discussion. So that guy, the twat, the one who hits his sword and stuff, they all like sit down.
Yeah.
He is the only survivor of the Red Wedding. He's the guy it was his wedding, right?
Yeah.
And he went into the bedroom, consummated the marriage, and everybody else got killed. And then you didn't see him for like 68 seasons, and then he came back, like the season before last, when Jaime and Bronn had that big battle.
Yeah, it's taking River Run, I think
That's
it was.
And they use him as a kind of bait, and they go, "Oh, we still got this guy. Remember him from season 2?" I think that's the lines verbatim. And they go, "Oh yeah, I remember him from season 2." And then they go, yeah, do you want him? And they go, yeah, we'll have him. And they go, no, well, fuck you, or something like that. So he's a bit of a twat. He was always a bit of a twat.
But the thing is, why didn't they stick him in season 8? Why didn't they get him up to Winterfell, or at least show that he was going to create some influence in the battle? He didn't at all, and he just turned up on the council trying to decide who was going to rule the Seven Kingdoms.
He's been a twat throughout the whole showpiece. He's the guy. Remember back fucking ages ago when they tried to light a raft on fire and he kept on missing, right? And then the other guy with the ponytail just went fucking move out of the way. It was a constant joke that he's a prick.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wish they'd have introduced him a little bit earlier in the season as well, so he could just remind you. And I completely forgot about him, to be honest. If they'd have made a running thing throughout this each season when he was first introduced, and maybe a couple of times just to give us a heads up of who he is and all the stupid things he does, it might have been better. But anyway, that's my opinion. I couldn't work out whether John had left to escort the wildlings into the north, or he was actually going there to escape everything and move on. The end was just, it wasn't clear enough for me.
I think he was just going, because they sent him to the wall, and then I originally thought, well, is there a wall? Like, is there a Night's Watch? Like, what are they actually watching for now? Like things like that. Yeah. And then I thought when he had his, he had his Night's Watch attire on and his sword, and I thought, okay, is he just automatically become the Lord Commander, like in charge again? And then when he was leading them out, I thought, no, he's gone fuck it, and thought, there's no one telling me I can't, and I think he's gone to live with them because that's where he belongs.
But to me, as a viewer, that wasn't clear neither. I don't know. But at the same time, I enjoyed it. Like I say, I'm on the fence. I did enjoy it. It was a big thing to come, and I enjoyed watching it. I know there's going to be haters, quite a lot actually, but I enjoyed it. It was something that was long awaited, and I was glad to watch it. Anyway, that's my opinion. Mark, that's very short. Not as short as Mike's.
I know. But... I did enjoy the season. Like everyone else, I thought they rushed it and they cut a lot of corners. It didn't have the in-depth storytelling of what the previous seasons had. There was a few bits what really annoyed me. After John had killed Danny, there was like a 2 or 3 week time jump, and it didn't really explain that. And all of a sudden, Tyrion's beard's a bit more longer, and that. And I'm thinking, well, what happened with John? How come he's in jail? They didn't show you arrested him or anything. Yeah. So that was a bit confusing at first.
So I said Tyrion's beard was just bigger. I said to my old man, as like a couple of weeks passed because his beard looks a bit more bushier.
Yeah. So, it was a bit confusing. As with Cersei, I don't think she deserved a glorious death. I think she got what she deserved when that thing fell on her, that building.
Why?
She didn't because she didn't deserve a glorious death. She didn't deserve it because she's been a bitch all the way through.
But that's
she didn't have
should have been butchered.
She didn't have a gruesome death either. I mean, she died in the arms of her lover.
Or even if when the Mountain and the Hound were on the steps and she ordered her to ordered him to, I don't know. She said something to him. I can't remember. Even if the Mountain had turned around and crushed the skull and threw her off the side, that would have been wicked.
I know. I was hoping he was going to clothesline her or something with his left arm as she's walking past.
And Jamie Lannister gets to the bottom of the stairs just to witness it and be like, "Fuck!" And then the Hound throws an axe at him, and oh man.
Instead, she had a very pantomime just exit there. Yeah. She was just like, "Okay, I'll let you two boys do what you need to do," and just walked off.
I don't know.
But overall, I'm happy. I'm really easygoing with TV and movies, so I don't get that annoyed at stuff.
Oh,
yeah, I guess I'm the same.
It reflects on the person you are, Mark. You're such a friendly guy. And then
I understand that if any more words come pouring out your cunt mouth, I'm gonna have to eat every fucking chicken in this room.
That's brilliant.
But on the other hand, we have my brother.
Hello. I put in 2 words into this section. And they are fucking wank. Yes. My thoughts on season 8. Right. I do have an actual list in my brain. Right, John's family stuff, which was mentioned on season 1 or the first episode. Scene Bean says, "Yo, one day I'll tell you about your family," and then he gets his head chopped off. That was all back then. That meant nothing. Fuck all that came out of that. John didn't even tell anyone. All right, thanks, John. You prick. Bran's a prick. Cersei should have been killed in a horrible way, like Joffrey, because I loved Joffrey. I thought he was one of the best characters. I always loved him when he was on the screen.
Yeah, I'd love
He
to
was
hate
so
him.
Yeah.
interesting. It's like, what's he gonna do now? He doesn't even like shagging these girls. He just likes shooting them with a
Yeah.
fucking bow.
Don't
Right.
forget Ramsay. Ramsay had a gruesome death too.
Yeah, and when Joffrey died, he died in such a horrible way. You almost felt sorry for how he died, and he died and he died in his mother's arms and all this sort of stuff. And I think it was start of season 5 or 4, where Cersei was told that she would be killed by one of her brothers. Technically, I suppose she was. She was like forced to stay down there with Jaime. But my big problem with season 8 is people's arcs don't fully complete. So Jaime's character, Jaime Lannister's character, is one of the most interesting characters in the whole show, all right? Because he is he's the bad guy. He's into incest. He caused Bran's downfall. He basically caused the war. The push out the window is the catalyst for the whole thing to kick off. He's the reason why everybody fell out, and he's kind of like the start of it all. So he should have ended it all by killing Cersei and came completely back around. And I didn't even mind that he had sex with Brienne and did that, because that was such an interesting arc that they had. And when he left Bran's people were upset because Bran looked weak because she looked so strong throughout the show, but I thought it was good. Like the one moment she let her guard down and sort of had like intimate with someone, she starts to get upset, and she probably learned from that, blah 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 blah. So I thought Jaime was going back to kill Cersei, not to kind of hug her underneath the rubble. But I think what I would have liked is it's all kicking off at the King's Landing. It's not going that well for Jon Snow and the Dragon Lady, and Jaime killing Cersei kind of tipped it over the edge, and then probably had to sacrifice himself. Jaime had to die. He did some terrible things in the show, so I'm no problem with him dying. But he also did some really, really good things in the show, and his arc was just so perfect. Like Tyrion was kind of like a dickhead at the start. And he came around halfway through the show. So Jaime's character is just a bit disappointed that he just kind of came back because he wanted a bit of his sister again. I'm like, oh god, that's terrible.
I loved the relationship between Tyrion and Jaime. I thought that was really dynamic.
It is good. It is good.
The scene when they were saying when Tyrion freed him, and he said, "Oh, you're the only person that didn't treat me as a monster growing up, like you saved me in my childhood." And that was one of the moments I think this season when I did get a bit teary-eyed. I thought, because I've always loved their relationship, like they're true brothers.
And because Tyrion let him go, and Tyrion got in trouble for that, but then Jaime could have saved the day, and Dany could have gone, "Hey, no biggie, you saved the day. Cheers to Tyrion. Thanks a lot, GG." So that I've got a big problem with Jaime, and he's kind of ending. I thought he's such a great character, and how you kind of didn't like him and then liked him, and then you just thought he looked like Prince Charming from Shrek, and then he turned into a really, really good character. There's the other thing as well. Maybe the Dragon Woman should have killed Cersei in the tower. I mean, like, or at least fucking done some damage, right? The woman that you hate is in a massive tower, and you're on a dragon. All right, and you can see the bitch, right? You can just see her, and she's standing
everything
there.
Else.
Right, and there's like innocent kids and everything. Why is she so bothered about killing the kids over the fucking woman that chopped her mate's head off from Hollyoaks? She was in Hollyoaks, by the way, Melisandre. And that's how I refer to all the characters, like the girl from Hollyoaks. So girl from Hollyoaks gets her head chopped off. She's all vexed. So Dany should have been like, "Yo, Cersei, you shouldn't have killed Hollyoaks, girl. I'm gonna fuck you up." Knock the tower down, and then she's down, and then Jaime stabs her in. King's Landing went down like a bitch, right? I'm sorry, but they could have fucking took that shit 2 seasons ago with how quickly they took that shit down. It was unbelievably easy. All right. They were all like, no, we can't go now, Danny, because all the fucking army's fucking tired from killing all dead people. And I was like, and Danny's like, oh, no, I want to do it now. Fuck them. And he's like, no, fucking hell, Danny, have you not seen them? They're fucking tired. So they need a Red Bull or something. No, we're going now. And they go down there. They're all up for it. Everybody on the army's like, yeah, no worries. No, I don't, I've got to work overtime, but what can you do? And they fucking go in and dominate. All right. She had 3 dragons 2 seasons ago. All right. She could have fucked everything up in like minutes. Like, no problem. And they wasn't even ready for it. Back, like, Cersei's been fucking gearing up a season for like making all these crossbows. Look, they didn't even know she was. They thought dragons was bollocks, but fucking 2 seasons ago. So she could have took King's Landing like an absolute treat. She could have just like took it in, whipped it all up. What we having for dinner? Da 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 da. Right, spin off. But no, didn't do that. Yeah, Night King I think should have took over Winterfell. Should have definitely took over Winterfell, and I thought they would have retreated from Winterfell. Like I said earlier, would have been nice if they killed the Night King. And no one else dies, and it kind of, but it meant the army could die now, because it was all assumed. Like I think Jon Snow at one point just went, "If you kill the Night King, they'll all go down." John, did you know that? Have you read that or anything? No, not really. No. So John, so let me just get this straight, John. Kit, I'm going to call you Kit. Kit, you're just, what is it? Gut feeling. You read it on a wall. Sam found it out. Did Sam find it out? He's wise. Did he find it in a book? No, just fucking guessed. All right, thanks. Cheers, John. No, we're not going to go with John's plan. He's fucking insane, and he's 4 foot tall. Yeah, the long night, right? My only problem, yeah, it was very dark. I'll give you that. All right, the long night. My only issue with that fucking episode is that nobody in that whole episode, I was expecting the Geordie guy to do it, right? Said, it's going to be a long night. No one said it. No one said it. It's going to be a fucking long night. Right. Or even at the end, go, fucking hell. Oh, I'm dying for a shit. Yeah, Arya Stark, I thought she would have like used one of the White Walker's face and snuck in and chunk, got in that way. The most I think one of the best arcs in the whole season was let me hold on. No Dick. What's his No Dick's name?
Theon.
Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah, Alfie Allen, as we call him, Lily Allen's bro. Alfie Allen. I thought it was a fantastic arc. I loved his story, his arc, how he was an absolute bellend.
How he lost his bellend.
I was going to say.
Almost shagged his sister. All this stuff, and he's just a terrible, terrible person. And he comes round, I'm speaking for me, but me and Tara were really sort of behind Alfie Allen, and we thought, like, you know, all the terrible things he's done. What a great sort of way the show has kind of come back round on him. And
yeah, he redeemed himself, didn't he?
Redeemed himself. And Bran, he didn't mind sort of die. There's a very weird thing with that the way he died was, so Bran says, what's his name again? What's Alfie Allen's name again?
Theon.
Theon Greyjoy.
You're a good man, Theon. Thank you. And he's like, fucking brilliant. Right, the kid that I pretended to burn is all good. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to fucking run to this Night King guy, which makes no sense. Right, should have stayed where he was. Night King, you know, shanks him. No problem. No biggity. And he's on the floor, right? And there's a shot of Alfie Allen on the floor, just a little bit like he's going to get up. Right?
Yeah,
like he's going to do something.
I expected him to maybe do something.
He's going to do something. He's going to kill the fucking Night King. He's going to do it. And then you never see him. And he's dead. And I'm like, why did they show that extra weird shot of him like twitching? Look at that awful thing. What a great end to his like arc. And they were, I don't want to see him look suffering.
I never noticed that. I never noticed that though, to be honest.
There was just like a brief pause where you thought, like, is he going to do something?
Well, yeah, the movie logic is if you don't see somebody die, they're not dead, right? So technically, we never see him die. Like, he twitches on the very, very last minute. I mean, I know he's buried the next episode, but like in that episode, you know, he twitches, and I'm like, movie logic, he's alive, right? Which means instead of out of the shadow, I thought it was going to be Lily Allen's brother, right? I thought he was going to pop out and sing, I don't know, I can't remember a Lily Allen song, but and shank him. And I thought that would have been great. Like, what a brilliant way to redeem the character, right? He absolutely stops death. But yeah, that's pretty much my summation of it. It's too short. It's 6 episodes. It's really too short to end that show. It's ridiculously short. And the problem with 6 episodes is 6 start, middle, and then ends. 6 episodes. I know, like, they're a bit longer and doesn't matter because there's still pace in an episode. You still have to kind of structure it and end it in a way and sort of make the end shocking. And that's why the last episode was like a wet fart. That's why, we didn't get going until the 3rd episode. Really, and most of the time, I'll shut up after this one. Most of the time, Game of Thrones seasons, like, they have an early spike. And then they take like the Battle of the Bastards took fucking ages to come, but we all knew it was coming. We all knew the guy was going to get done in somehow, or something was going to happen, and it really earns it. And when you get there, you're like, yes. And this season just doesn't follow the kind of build up that the other seasons had. It's very strange.
I don't know. I thought the first 2 episodes, it contoured well. It was going there.
I thought the first 2 episodes could be 1 episode. I'd like it's literally everybody.
That was almost like a roller coaster going up, like the steep bit, just preparing for the battle with the undead.
Yeah, everybody's here. Everybody's here. The Hound's here. Jamie's here. That was the first episode. Nothing happens. The second episode, Brienne gets knighted. That's the only thing that really happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah, loses her virginity.
Well, yeah, and again,
that was in the 3rd.
See, but that.
Wait, wait, was I the only one that was a little uncomfortable seeing her?
Very uncomfortable.
Yes, it was.
Very
It was like
it's what happens when we're 60.
You've seen us grow up, right?
Yeah.
And also, the other thing that bothered me was Gendry, who's quite a cool character and who was rowing a boat for 4 seasons. Gendry comes in like a massive pussy and just goes, "Oh, we should fucking get married." And I was like, "Don't you know the woman that you just had sex with? Like, she just isn't interested in that stuff." Even I could have told you that. I've never met the woman. So, like, she ain't interested. And he just goes, "Oh, we should get married." And I'm like, "No, like, you should tell her and say, 'Oh, I know you're gonna go, but this is where I am, and I know you're kind of like a wanderer. So look me up, check me up on Tinder or whatever." And
if you ever want a booty call, I'm here for you.
Yeah, I'm off. You know what I mean? But they just turned Gendry into a massive. My favourite character, Bronn, played by Jerome Flynn, or as I call him, Robson and Jerome. Bronn shows up twice in the whole season. The first time he shows up, he threatens Tyrion and Jaime, and he turns into an absolute bellend. He's not even funny or good. He's pretty funny on the last episode. He's like normal Bronn, but he doesn't really have a massive moment. Rushed. 6 episodes, too rushed. No.
Okay.
I was just going to quickly say, I want to say on the rushed episode conundrum, whose decision did that come down to at the
It's
top?
probably HBO.
Is it David and Dan, or is it HBO
Probably
thinking, okay, this season's going to be wrapping up now. Maybe we can do it in 6 episodes because we got other things coming. We got Westworld, and then they had, is it Chernobyl, which is on at the moment? Like, that was coming. That's HBO. So maybe, I don't know.
I think it's HBO and money. So I think every time an episode airs, they have to pay a certain amount of money. So they rather keep that money and put the money back into the show rather than staggering it. Is what I understand of it. Very limited knowledge.
Because people were saying that David and Dan just wanted to get this all done so they could go and write Star Wars.
But I think this is more not HBO. I think this is more direction from the producers.
I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know. But they were done. They wanted to do 7 seasons. I know that for a fact.
Well, HBO. Have you seen the drop off of their
subscribers?
I mean,
it's seriously bad.
You had to know that was coming.
We in Britain, we're not as attached to HBO as a network, I suppose, what they put out. But I don't know what else they've got, Greg, in terms of content.
True Lies, Chernobyl.
Chernobyl, yeah, Katie mentioned that one.
Sopranos, that's still being watched, I think, isn't it?
Sopranos is an all-time great.
And Westworld is the show they think that will replace Game of Thrones in the level of its hype. But
Curb Your Enthusiasm. I only know that because of the start of the logo. That's the only show that I care on HBO. Yeah, it's tough, but I think that I saw an interview with George R. Martin, and he said that he wanted 10 seasons. The D&D wanted 7. But there you go.
Okay. So the only person that can wrap up 2 words "fucking wank" in 10 minutes is my brother. So,
Mike, can you come on the show Wednesday? It would be really nice to have you on.
I'm only kidding. You know, it's all
We love you,
bants. Right, Greg. I'm sorry I took the kudos from the dark episode, but go on.
That's okay. That's
Shoot
okay.
away.
I will fire away. So overall, I think for the final season, it really was 2 episodes that really disappointed me mostly, and I was actually really okay with pretty much all the other episodes, other than them feeling rushed. And I think, you know, the battle with the Night King and the final episode were 2 that I hated. And I lovingly, you know, have the dark episode for being episode 3, and it's the battle of the hormones for the finale. I mean, it seems like they really played everything safe. I felt like all the story arcs and things were wrapped up nicely. And we've already talked about this in length, so I'm not going to go on and on about it. But I mean, I felt like they really wanted to play it safe to appease fans, and it played out all the way through to the finale. If you look at the first 4 seasons, 5 seasons, when there were actual books they were following, nobody was safe. There were constant, like, shocking moments, and it feels like once they ran out of the books, suddenly the show took on a regular television series format where the popular characters are going to be saved, they're going to be kept alive. You know, I'm really curious to see if Jon Snow was actually meant to come back alive, or they wrote that in themselves, because it just felt, again, like they played it safe. They kept all the characters that people loved, and they found ways to bring them back when they didn't deserve to. So specifically, though, the Night King episode, you know, the big battle, aside from it being overly dark, I really was, I mean, this should have been like over 2 to 3 episodes, because this fight, you know, with the White Walkers and the Night King, that was like the big thing everything was leading up to. I mean, the show took on the gravity of the White Walkers were coming, and winter is coming, and we've got to beat them at all costs. You know, forget about your allegiances. This is the most important thing that's going to face us, and they handled that all within 1 episode.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't think it gave it justice for as big an event as it was.
I definitely expected that to come last. Like, deal with Cersei first, then deal with them.
Yeah. And then the final the final episode, it just concluded with a whimper. I mean, you know, Cersei dies in Jaime's arms with falling bricks. Okay. Jon kills Dany with a knife in that kind of I will always love you, and you know, stabs her. And my thing was, you know, we see Cersei couldn't be killed by fire. She was bigger than life, and then she just dies in this very, uneventful moment. And the dragon is just sitting there, and he's like, "Oh, you just killed my mom. That's cool. I'm gonna burn the throne down, and I'm just gonna forget about everything else." And you know, Tyrion and Jon, then of course they're captured by the Unsullied. They've been there apparently for weeks. They come out, and you know, Grey Worm is just like fully like, I will not let any of these guys go. They are prisoners, and he tells Tyrion to shut up. And you know, he's basically, you know, you think, okay, these guys are basically going to get killed. And then like 5 minutes later, he's like, nope, let's let the dwarf talk again, and we'll have him elect the king, and we're good with everything. We'll even let Jon go up to the north because it's cool. And I was just like, this is the worst ending ever.
Yep.
It was horrible. And I still am at a loss that the Unsullied just backtracked so quickly within like 5 minutes of being, nope, Jon has to die. He's got to pay for his crimes. You shut up. You're a prisoner. You're not allowed to speak. And then it's like, nope, we're cool with everything he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of other holes within the episodes, but I mean, for me, those 2 episodes in particular just really pulled this final season down, other than it being rushed. And again, that playing it safe feel to this final season really just it brought what probably would have been a 10 out of 10 series for me. It definitely brought it down a full peg for sure. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, don't reveal it yet, Greg. Okay.
Sorry.
So we've got some other people that have summed up their opinions on season 8, and Ross Fraser said too rushed. It could have easily been longer, which is very short but sweet. Rob Snoogans, which a few of us know here and hate for trials. Snoogans. Says, hey Pete, this is my thoughts on the Game of Thrones season 8 for the podcast. It's been one of my favourite shows and been getting up to watch the episodes, but the end has killed it for me. So he's actually been getting up. But did anybody else get up in the night to watch this? What you would have to do?
Nope.
Oh, hell no.
Can't do that.
I made that mistake with Lost right at the end. And I watched all the way through in that last episode. I got up and watched it, and yeah, there was no way.
Oh man! You got up for Lost.
Feel for me. Feel for me.
Oh God!
Okay, so Rob says so many things I didn't like about the last episode and how it turned out. Just how it felt all rushed with no real big shocks. Cersei's death was so poor. The dragon burning the throne. How did he know how to burn it? That's a good point.
I think he was just venting anger.
You know, it would be great if the dragon could talk all this time. That'd be fucking brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah, just turn around and say,
like, yo.
sake, John, what are you doing that for?
Jonathan, that was not on. That was not cricket, John. I'm fucking gonna burn this throne.
That should still be a commentary on the box set.
Yeah.
Drogon's commentary.
Drogon's commentary.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm a little baby.
Yeah.
Okay, so John walking past everyone after they knew that he killed Daenerys and no one kills him. What a joke. And Bran as the king, I'd rather have Joffrey back. I could go on and on. And there was some frustration there. There's an there. So on a good point, I love Peter Dinklage, who plays Tyrion Lannister. He was brilliant and stood out for the whole show.
Yes.
I was going to watch it all again, but I think I'll pass. But if I do, I'll be turning it off after Daenerys' speech, just before she dies, and that's the end for me. So that's Snoogans. Sean.
Pete.
No,
Pete.
No,
it's
no.
not me. I'm not talking.
No, go on.
Tora, one word. What do you think of Game of Thrones season 8? Good.
Yeah.
Good to include her on the show.
Kicking her out, even though she just brought me a tea.
I didn't know that he was going to bring our sister on. I thought it was just going to be you again, moaning. Right. Hello, Tara. So, Sean Cullen at Shaunakin. All these people who replied to the post when I clearly said just PM us. He was one of them, little monkey. So the most fun I had was sharing memes with my sister. And if I'm honest, the biggest takeaway was the satisfaction in knowing Jon and Ghost were together again.
Yeah.
A beautiful girl, Shell, said some parts were good. I wasn't expecting Dany and the dragon to kill all of the innocent people of King's Landing. Also, if she could destroy the Iron Fleet with one dragon, then why not with two? I agree with that. That was piss poor. Two dragons.
A surprise attack though when they shot the dragon though, wasn't it?
Right.
Well, yeah, but there was still one left.
Yeah, but she didn't.
They didn't even know they had. She had dragons about fucking 2 years ago. There's like dragons. We haven't seen them for fucking years. Shut the fuck up.
She ripped that shit up with one dragon off a whim.
No, Dany also had to think through her tactics, and she realized she had to come in like a Stuka dive.
That's why she came down vertically. Yeah, because they couldn't reach. The scorpions couldn't reach at the angle.
She also said that I was really, really, really disappointed how Cersei died in the arms of her lover Jaime. Arya Stark's Many Faces training was a bit of a lost cause when she didn't use her skills in the last season. He's all with me on that one. Beth, some bits good, some were bad. I think there was a lot more that could have been explored. I love that Arya killed the Night King. That was the highlight for the season for me, which I thought was pretty cool as well. However, I think Bran is the most boring character of the whole series, and I was really disappointed that he ended up being the king.
He was so underutilized, wasn't he, with his three-eyed raven shit.
I mean, because when he what he said in the last episode, which I thought they could have maybe showed or when Drogon left with Daenerys to, I'm assuming, going back to the Dragonlands across the Narrow Sea. I'm assuming that's where he was taking her to be buried or whatever. I don't know. And he said, I thought, like, is he going to be able to find him or something? Like, will he walk into Drogon or something? Like, I thought, like, I wanted to see that.
You know, if you really think about Bronn, he's actually probably the most evil character out of all of them, because according to him, he saw all of this coming and all of these, events, and Jon being in the places that he was at. You know, he in a sense kind of admits to manipulating things to get to where they are at.
It's basically a
Yeah.
king in the chess game.
Yeah.
He's the Doctor Strange of the fucking Game of Thrones. An absolute bellend.
So
Kick him off his chair. Can't get back up.
Or Doctor Strange.
A bit below the belt, Katie.
Yeah.
Getting him where his
Well,
wheels is.
I saw a meme of Bran, right? And it fucking was brilliant. And it says, when you're in a group at university, do nothing and still get an A. That's fucking Bran.
Okay, so Beth finishes with, I think because we've waited 8 seasons, there was an expectation for the ending to be more complex with a twist that ties everything together. So we can see why a lot of people were disappointed. Matt also said that the last season felt rushed to me. The long night episode more than makes up for some of the lesser ones. You know what? I disagree. I'm with you, Greg. I think another season wasn't necessary, and season 7 could have been extended. Could have had extended episodes to finish off the character stories properly. Which I think they could have extended season 7 and give us an extended season 8. I think that would have been good. But I get it. So that's pretty much our view on season 8. So I hope the listeners got a good flavour of what's been said, and I think everybody's aired off what they needed to. So we'll move on to the top 3 characters. Katie.
I did I put? Yeah, I did put these in a particular order. Going from number 3, going backwards. Number 3 was Jamie. Despite this season, his whole arc, being for nothing, I kind of felt, he had this great arc, as Mike was saying earlier, where, he started out as this absolute scumbag. He kicked the whole events of Game of Thrones off by pushing Bran out the window. He listed a lot of these things to Brienne as he was leaving to kind of justify the reasons why he wanted to go back to Cersei. And, he said he pushed Bran out of a window. He strangled his own cousin in season 2 to get out of the cage.
Yeah.
And then he would have, at River Run, he would have murdered everybody just to get back to Cersei. And so he was definitely a horrible person in the beginning. And he was just rude. I mean, just outright horrible to a lot of people. And some of my favorite moments before he, I guess, turned good was when he was with Brienne, and just every single thing, first thing he would say to her would be like an insult. She threw him out the boat in season 3, and he's just like, God, you're brutishly ugly, something like that. He's just insulting her every step of the way, which it showed that he wasn't a nice guy, but it was so funny. And it was Brienne that I felt brought the good out of him. It showed there was goodness in there, and it was around the season 3 point where he was starting to question what he was doing, like why he was, I guess, following Cersei, even though he albeit went back to her in the end. But he started doing good things. I mean, he was helping save people. He was being a lot nicer to people and whatnot, and he just ended up becoming one of my favorite characters in the end because he just had such a good arc. If you take away what happened at the end when he went back to Cersei, which people have been saying it's a tragic full circle. He's kind of gone, like he just can't escape the clutches of his sister that he loves so deeply.
Yeah, I felt the changing point for Jamie was when he was captive with Brienne and he lost his hand. I think that was a turning point for him. Ever since that episode, I started to like him and got to warm towards him.
Yeah, and it was always a relationship I wanted. I was so happy when him and Brienne got together, and then I was really disappointed 5 seconds later when he was like, okay, I'm going back to Cersei. And I felt so sorry for her because she was just like, I've actually admitted that I've loved him. And, because you could see, I think, for the past, 2 seasons, I think there was something there between them. And
Because she was pushing off Tormund's advances once she,
Yes.
she had these feelings for Jamie.
Number 2's Arya Stark, because I definitely. Well, I was going to say in the earlier seasons, but I'm going to say actually throughout the whole show, I've seen so much of myself in her character, and the fact that she's not your typical woman or girl/woman. She would always say, when Ned Stark was saying to her, "Oh, you'll grow up to be a lady and like a princess. You'll marry these lovely men or whatever, and you'll have all these nice little princes and princesses, and you'll do all this stuff. You'll knit and things like that." And she's like, "No, that's not me. That's never been her. She's just epic, and she's so independent. She's definitely a good. If you take away all the killing and stealing people's faces, she's actually a good role model for women. Just to not accept what people expect of you. If you want to be someone different, you definitely can be someone different. If you feel passionate about it enough. And then number 1 is Tyrion. As someone said in the comments above that we just read out, Peter Dinklage has done such an amazing job playing Tyrion. I think for me, he's definitely one of my favorite TV characters of all time. Because I liked Tyrion to be at the beginning, though, even though when he was quite sly and horrible. But I never thought he was evil. I never thought he was truly evil. From the beginning, I still thought there was a goodness in Tyrion. Like, he would always be a bit crude, and he was known as the imp. He would sleep around with whores and things like that, but he was always a good side to him. Like, he would always still think of the people and not just of himself. And then as the seasons went on, he escaped King's Landing, and he actually got to, I guess, step into the role he was always meant to be as like hand of the Queen to Daenerys. And so many awesome moments for Tyrion, and just such an epic character that I think will stick with me for the rest of my life. Love Tyrion.
Katie, just to kind of piggyback real quickly on that, but Tyrion, if you think about it, Tyrion and Bronn are the 2 people that won the most out of the entire story arc.
Yeah.
Bronn for obvious reasons, but Tyrion also. I mean, he survived against odds that, it's amazing that he made it this far.
Yeah. Loved it. Absolutely loved Tyrion. Great. One of the greatest characters in TV for me.
I think I'd second that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Katie, thanks. Someone who's boycotting the system, but he's one of the co-hosts for the show, and you've got to give him the love. But Cole's breaking the rules. Let's go.
Well, I might not be. I'll explain. So I think I second Katie's comments there around Tyrion. I think he's my favourite in the series. I think he's just so well done, and the guy's such a superb actor. And I think he had the best lines. I think he was scripted the best out of all of them. I think he was the most interesting character. He went through just so much in terms of his character. I loved it in that last episode where he throws his little pin down the stairs. It was so symbolic, and literally all he could do. Just impressed me all the way through, and so chuffed he made it to the end. I think Brienne was really good. I really thought that she grew into it, as the seasons went on, and she became more likable. She thawed, and you saw a side of her. I thought she would die a couple of times, but some of the scenes she was in, like the fight with the Hound, and
that was epic.
The bear with Jamie and stuff, and I loved all that.
I wonder if she'll be pregnant in a spin-off.
You never know. One pump Jamie Lannister, it could be. And I think, and I have cheated a little bit here.
No, you have.
Well, I've got 2 here, but not really. I'm going to put the other favourite as being the Hound and Arya, but when they were together.
Yeah, that's a great pairing.
So good.
I think I like them both separately, but I think when they were together, I loved watching their scenes. But I thought they were so good for each other, and you saw how they, obviously, in the end in season 8, when they had that kind of strength in their relationship that they'd nurtured in the most bizarre ways throughout the season. So, yeah, I'd love to see them on screen together, probably more than anyone else. So, yeah,
I felt he was one of the best people to look out for. Like I felt like maybe. Well, after season 2, because I can't think of any moments he kind of looked out for her in season 1 and 2, but it was season 3 where it started, where he took her away from the Red Wedding, and she wanted to go in and find her brother and her mother after they'd been obviously slaughtered at that point, and he knocked her out and took her, because it's like, no, you're going to get killed if you do that. And that's when I guess the more important relationship between them started forming.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Okay, is that you?
it is, mate.
Okay. My top three: Arya Stark. I don't need to even mention why. I think everybody's gonna go through all the reasons, and we've heard them just. But my next favourite is Tormund Giant Spain.
He was
And,
brilliant.
listen,
He likes his giant's milk, doesn't he?
I mean, he's a ginger to start off with. So I've got it. I've got to. Huh?
That's a knock against him.
No, it's not. I've got to stick with my ginger brothers. Mark, did you want to drop something in?
No, I was just going to say,
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
you know nothing because Greg's right.
So yeah, Tormund Giant Spain. I thought his whole journey across. When did he get introduced into the show? Was it season 4?
Season 3. He got
3.
introduced with Ygritte
Yeah.
around that time, I think.
He's a fantastic character. He's a great actor. I love that thing with Brian and the awkwardness between them both. He really, really wanted it, didn't he?
One of the best scenes were in this season, just for comedy value, was it was after the battle, and the undead battle, and he was just, and Brienne had turned him away again, and Jaime followed her, and then you cut back and he's sitting next to the Hound crying, like, she's broken my heart, Clegane, and then he touches him and he just goes, don't fucking touch me.
He's such a good character. Grievatronis in the chat has just said I look like Tormund a bit as well too. He's probably got a better hairline, but he's a bit thicker set than me. But yeah, I get what you mean. It's just a ginger thing. And my third character, I always pronounce it. Well, I could be pronouncing it wrong now, but Jaqen Hagar.
Jaqen Hagar.
There we go. From the Man of Many Faces, or the Man from Bravos. And yeah, good old Valar Morghulis. And he was just for me that whole thing when Arya broke him free and he killed those guardsmen and almost like shown her the way, and gave her the coin. And I just thought, shit, this guy is wicked.
And there were so many theories surrounding that character as well. Everyone thought, like, oh, is he going to become this character now or anything like that? Because, he had the ability to change his face. And people would always say, was it Cyril Farrell, like her dancing master, who her Arya's sword teacher, who originally told her, what do we say to the god of death, not today? And people always assumed that they were the same person.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. The theories surrounding that character were great.
Yeah, fantastic. So I think he was very mysterious and just attracted me straight to that character. Thought he was great. So that's me, Mark.
The Hound, I thought he was fantastic. He didn't take any shit off anybody. Some of the quips he was saying to people as we're dying. This is a classic. I'll just play it now.
Fuck you! Those are your last words. Fuck you. I can do better.
Cunt!
You're shit at dying, you know that.
Yeah, that's so great.
You shit at dying. I just thought he was a great character, and like everyone said before, the relationship between him and Arya and everything is just ace. And that brings me on to my second favorite, which is Arya. Right from being a little kid up to being this badass fucking ninja, she's just awesome. And when she killed the Night King, I just jumped out of my seat and I was leaping for joy. I thought it was great. I don't care what Greg says. I thought it was amazing. I just think she's ace. Yeah, I think the faces thing was a bit underutilized. It was the bit with the phrase where she killed Waldo Frey.
Oh, that was so
brilliant.
good.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a definitely long time coming.
Yeah. And it's a shame they didn't use the face thing since then, but that just the whole build up to that with the faces was worth it. And my favourite character of all is Tyrion. I think he's just brilliant. He's one of the best characters on TV. There's nothing bad you can say about him. It started off in the first couple of seasons where it was just a selfish fucking shagging,
wine drinking,
and he ended up being wanting the best for everyone and the best outcomes and that. And he had some great words as well, some great phrases. I'll just play with them now.
Why are all the gods such vicious cunts? Where's the god of tits and wine?
Yeah.
So he's just a great character.
Okay. Is that you, Mark?
Yep.
Brother. Where's he gone?
I'm there. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was drinking tea. Right. My first one is Theon Greyjoy. I thought he was acted very well by Mr. Allen. I thought he was great.
He was.
The bit where he was Reek. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that whole dungeon
That was
scene.
good.
Yeah.
Kind of this genuine moment where you just don't know where that character's going to go. Do you know what I mean? Like I really thought that he was in a dead end, pretty much.
I wonder how that affected him in real life.
I don't know.
It must, when
I don't think they really cut his dick off for Pete.
No.
Didn't they?
He's really method.
Ah.
So, but I just thought it was so good. And there's the actor. He's got this thing where he can kind of look like he's trying to look mean, but looks really sad. He's very good at pretending to look evil, but something's going on. And I think that's kind of like a trait that the actor
I always think
has.
he's got that deer in headlights look.
He's just kind of like
shit scared of everything.
Yeah, he's just kind of a bit scared, but he's trying to put something on. You look at him and it's complex. The other character that I really like is the Hound. I thought, what? Sorry,
Theon. I thought was brilliant at playing the spineless role.
Well, it was a coward right until for sort of like the last season, wasn't it?
I was disappointed that there's when he takes Winterfell and he gets knocked out.
When he does that epic speech and then his own men just knock him out.
Yeah. But the man that knocks him out is a very, very good actor. He plays Finchy in The Office.
Yeah.
And he's brilliant. And he's only in one season of Game of Thrones. It's really annoying me, but I think he had to leave it because he was doing Ready Player One. But he's a great actor. Yes, so Theon, very good. Enjoyed his arc. I thought it all wrapped up very, very nicely. The Hound, I think he's brilliant because he's one-liners obviously, but again another character that kind of was a bit of a musclehead, and he's very similar to Tyrion in a way where he kind of starts from a place where you think you kind of know where he's going to go, and he's the one that rescues what's the ginger princess? What's her name? The Stark.
That's a drop it out, didn't you? That G word.
Sansa, right? I mean, she was going to get raped at King's Landing, and the Hound saves her. He saves Arya and all sorts of stuff. And you think he's dead at one point, and it's really, really cool. And he's just badass. Everybody loves the Hound. Not the best ending for him. Didn't really think it was that great, but it was pretty good. I like the bit where he says, "Why won't you just fucking die?" To his brother. So I thought it was good. And then my final favourite character is Abadol Strongbeard.
I don't remember who this is.
Who is that?
Abadol Strongbeard is a fucking legend.
Go on.
Right?
Really?
Best character, played by a man called Andrew McClay. And he's an extra that has survived Game of Thrones.
Oh, I think I know who you might be talking about, actually.
So the first time you see him is in Stannis' army, right? And then he joins Jon Snow at the Battle of the Bastards. Then when Jon Snow is the King of the North, he's the third one to stand up and say, "King of the North." Then he's in season 7. He's in season 8. And he survives the King's Landing battle. He is Jon's best soldier. And he's never mentioned. He's got one line. And he's a fucking legend, and he's got a whole Reddit page dedicated to him.
I think this character actually has a in the documentary I was talking about before we started recording. He's like the actor's featured in it.
Yeah, I think they kind of became a joke on the show that this guy was in it a lot, and he talks about how it changed his life, and he became an actor because he wasn't very good at maths and things like this, and he kind of did it as a. He's just a background actor. It's nothing glamorous about it, but he was kind of really happy to do it, and he kind of just sneaked in key scenes, and he's become a bit of a legend in Game of Thrones. And there's a whole thread about him, and he's called the Hidden Hero. Andrew McLean.
Yeah, I'm just putting that on the stream now. I mean, I don't even recognise the guy. I don't.
There you go. He's got a hell of a beard, and he's in there a lot.
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's
Stuff.
all.
Side
shape,
note,
man.
can I just mention to one moment of one character that no one's talked about, and it is a genuine character. What's the woman's name? She was quite old. She was a member of the other family. I think her daughter blew up in that green.
Lady Olenna,
God.
So she drank the poison.
Queen of Thorns.
Queen of Thorns. She went down like a fucking boss. All right. She just went. Jamie Lannister gave her the poison and just went. You know, drink this. You're gonna die. Like I won't kill you, but like, is it quick? Yep. Drinks it like a boss, and then goes. By the way, I killed Joffrey. Bye. I was like, what a fucking moment! What a fucking
She was
player!
pretty awesome.
Super fucking cool.
Sick. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Greg, I noticed that you broke the rules at one point. You had 4, and I've seen that one person that wasn't mentioned, and I really want you to explain that at the end of your 3, but that would be good.
All right. So Tyrion, I don't think there has been a better actor cast for a role than Tyrion. Peter Dinklage played him perfectly, and I don't think I could get enough of him in any episode that he starred in. I thought he was fantastic.
What about when he was in Destiny, though?
Well, we won't talk about that. But I did. The one moment where I cringed a little bit with Tyrion was, of course, the final episode where I think they just said, we want more Tyrion, so let's let him give a speech to everybody, even though he's the prisoner that was just told minutes ago to shut up. Anyway, overall, love Tyrion. So Arya, I liked her with the Hound. I thought their dynamic was fantastic. I wasn't the biggest fan of Arya for a good first half of the Game of Thrones seasons. I was not behind her at all. I was like, but she grew on me, and I thought once she actually became capable and went through the many faces thing and became kind of this capable fighter, I then took her more seriously, I guess, as a character. So up until that point, I really didn't care for her, but I really loved her as, again, once she got some skills and was old enough to be believable. And again, just the interaction she had with the Hound and just the quips and the short little dialogue back and forth that they would do all the time. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Jamie, I liked up until episode 5. I thought he had an amazing story arc. I thought it really seemed like he had kind of turned this corner, if you will, of being a selfish man and thinking about only himself and his family, to seeing the need to look beyond that and to do what's best for the good of everybody. And then it just, for lack of a better way to put it, I think they just wanted to wrap things up nicely and put him with Cersei and make it to be a weird twist. I didn't think it was in line with Jamie's character at that point for him to just up and leave and go running back to Cersei. I thought they had shown enough of him saying, no, Cersei needs to be stopped. Yeah. And I'd love to stop it in a peaceful way. She needs to be stopped. And instead, he just goes running back to her like, I love you. Let's run away together. And I was like, okay, I don't buy into this. And Jon Snow. So that was my 4th one that I magically made disappear because I felt like I was cheating. But Jon Snow, I like Jon Snow up until really the last episode, because I thought Jon Snow played a good conflicted person. He always was. There's this great evil out there. We need to stop it. And I see, Daenerys is the avenue to doing that, and teaming up with her makes sense. And he took the knee for that. And I always felt like everything was true to his character up until the last episode. I felt like he just became real vanilla. And it was Like suddenly he no longer was interesting. He just was kind of, he had no spine to it. He didn't stand up to Dany. He never really stood up.
She's my queen.
Yeah, I mean, my queen. I'm just gonna, despite all the evil she just did, I'm just gonna stick with this. She's my queen. Leading up to that, he had been talking about, we need to do what's right for everybody. We need to save as many people as we can. We need to try and avoid slaughtering everybody in King's Landing. And he walks through the city, and you see him just absolutely devastated by what she's done.
Yeah.
And so I really thought, this is it. We're going to get this. Jon cannot stand behind her anymore, and he is going to stand up to her, and there's going to be this epic fight. And maybe somehow he is able to either kill the dragon because the dragon was her power. At the end of the day, the dragon was the only power she had. And without the dragons, she honestly would have been killed in a nanosecond. So I thought Jon was going to be the linchpin to get that done and topple her. And instead he just walks up and, loves her, telling her, you're still my queen. You'll always be my queen. Gotta kill you because they wrote it in the lines. And I don't know, it was a very weak ending for him. And then just him kind of, again, not having any kind of voice in the whole trial thing and the picking of a leader. He was absent, and then he rides off to with the wildlings up to the watch and rides off into the sunset, so to speak. It was a neat, nice, safe story arc ending for him. And I hated it. I hated that.
That you, Greg?
Yeah, but I loved him all the way up until then. So yeah, there's that. But yes, that is me. Done.
Okay, thank you, Katie. You can swiftly go through the rest of the feedback we've had about top 3 characters.
Okay, so we got Tim Paulin, who I think breaks the rule a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
He says Arya Stark. Tyrion, I seriously thought he was done when he approached the Red Keep. I agree. I thought when he threw the hand of the Queen pin away, I thought, right, he's dead. I was worried for him there, but thankfully he didn't die. Bronn, he is probably the most honest character. Is it Bronn or Bran, he says there? Because he's gone Braun, but I don't know which.
Yeah, it's Bronn, that is.
Yeah, it's Bronn. Yeah, Bronn. He's probably the most honest character. Unabashedly owns his me-first attitude and personality. Have a great show, guys. Thank you very much, Tim. We have Ross, who says Jon, Dany, and Arya. Then we have Steve Allen, who says Tyrion, Arya, and Daenerys. Then we have Ultronic Master, who is Green Patronus in chat. Number 1, Lord Tywin, Charles Dance. That was a pretty awesome character. 2, A Girl with No Name / Arya Stark. And 3, the Night King. Wow. Then we have Edwin B. Hi, I enjoyed the podcast. I'm really liking season 8 of Game of Thrones and the story told so far. Top 3 characters, Arya, Tyrion, and Dany. Then we have Tim Kelly at Chopper Kelly 1, The Hound, Jon Snow, Tormund, also Davos, Bronn, and Jorah. So basically breaks the rules. Everybody else. Shell, Arya, Tyrion for the first few seasons, and Sam. I did like Sam.
Yeah.
Sam was.
I did like Sam.
Sam was what?
Sam was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typical good guy. We had Nick at Nick Simpsons on Tech. Excuse me. The Hound, Arya, Tyrion, also Barristan Selmy, which was the guy with the white beard joined Daenerys, was a Kingsguard.
That's right.
In the earlier seasons.
Yeah.
Was a good character.
Died well as well.
Yeah, he did. Like a badass.
Yeah.
Had Beth, Arya, Tyrion, and Dany. It's quite a common trait, those 3. And Matt, Jon Snow, Dany, and the Hound.
Okay. Thanks, Katie. Do you know the one? I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Don't matter because I'm host. So the one person that really got me as well, and I never mentioned him, was Peter Baelish.
Yeah,
and nobody has mentioned him.
He bastard. Yeah.
That's because there's just so many good characters in the show.
There is, but he was a fucking bastard.
Yeah. And his death was just holy shit. I'd love that moment from Sansa. Oh my god.
Even in Cole's words, bastard. See, he was evil. Evil.
Manipulator.
He thought he manipulated Sansa to sort of like get rid of Arya. but it all backfired, and that
Yeah.
was a great
Oh.
episode. I really
Yeah.
liked that.
He caused so much torment in the TV series.
Yeah.
He
He
was
got
so
Ned killed.
influential.
Got Ned killed.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
What about
So-
Ned Stark? Just giving up for Ned Stark. I actually really
Yeah.
like.
Who's
I
that?
mean, Ned Stark.
Who's that?
Sean Bean.
and even Robert Baratheon. The chemistry between Robert and Ned was great because they're
Yeah.
old buddies, weren't they?
Yeah.
I thought Mark Addy, who played Robert Baratheon, he's a great actor.
So many
It's a
good
shame.
characters.
Yeah, it's a shame we weren't in it much.
Greg, I
But
cut
Sean-
you off.
Sean
Come on,
Bean
Ned
dies
Stark.
down.
What do you think about Ned Stark, Greg?
Well, I mean, I instantly gravitated to Ned Stark, and I thought,
Yeah.
you know, again, this is the early days of Game of Thrones, and I was like, okay, he's going to be the champion of the show, and we're going to follow his story arc, and I mean, you know, he was the guy that you felt good about, right? I mean, you know, and then to see him killed in such a way and just being done in the show so quickly, to this day, I still think about that, and I'm like, wow, that was where Game of Thrones really just set the tone, and it was like, you don't know, you know nobody is safe.
Yeah. So good.
It was a great ending. Okay, so we're at the end of our favourite three characters, but we've got a little surprise even for the co-hosts of this show.
Uh-oh.
Mark Annex,
Yes.
this is shit.
Yeah. So we have got a quiz.
Oh.
Right, hang on, it's a bit loud.
There
Let me
had
just
to
pull
be
that
an
up.
element of the OC podcast.
Shit.
Right, you can all work together on these. If you get it correct, you get
Hodor,
If you get it wrong, you get
I think you're making a terrible mistake.
right. So, question 1: Who was responsible for the creation of the Night King?
The fucking
Children
elf,
of the Forest.
the little elf bitches.
Yep.
Hodor.
Yeah, Katie got it bang on that. Yeah,
Elf bitches.
yeah, yeah. Caused all that fucking problems, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Name Dany's 3 dragons.
Viserion, Rhaegal, and Drogon.
That's wrong,
Okay,
Katie.
okay.
Katie,
Wow.
no, that's wrong. Sorry. It's actually Dave, Bill, and George.
I was gonna.
Katie knows her stuff, doesn't she?
She
John
does.
Paul
doesn't
Ringo.
Who said, "I don't plan on knitting by the fire while men fight for me"?
Oh, was that Ned Stark's wife?
Caitlin.
Catelyn's
I think
son.
you're making a terrible mistake.
Nice, Brienne.
Ah.
Brienne.
I think you're making a terrible mistake.
What about Brienne?
I think you're making a terrible mistake.
Mark,
it's
Mark,
not the
what
little.
about Brienne?
It's not the little girl, is it? I forget her name. The one who
Oh, what's her name? What's her name?
I forget her name.
Liana.
She killed the
Yes.
troll.
The giant killer.
Liana. Yeah. What's her name? Or a nickname?
Lyanna Mormont.
Uh,
Yeah.
Hodor.
Little Bear. Yes. She was great. Oh, she stabbed that freaking dragon in its eye.
Yeah,
That
she was
was
cool,
such
Such
a
a
man.
good
great
scene.
character.
The interesting thing about that giant, that it died by getting shot in the other eye. Remember him? Remember that?
Yeah.
He got shot in the other eye. That's how he
Yeah.
died.
Is it
That's
an
the
arrow or
Ram-
something?
Ramsay
Yeah, he
did.
got hit now in the Battle of the Bastards. He died by getting shot in the eye, and then he gets killed again by getting stabbed in the other eye.
I would just
What-
point out that she would have been killed instantly the moment that giant smacked her the way it did.
Yeah, yeah. You said that before, yeah. It's TV, though, Greg. Just go with
Also, the dead don't walk around and try and kill us.
Well, not yet.
it. What is the name of a giant slaying crossbow that failed to protect King's Landing?
The scorpion.
Yeah, I've already
Ah,
mentioned it earlier.
Hodor.
Right, where is the House of Black and White, the training temple of the Faceless Men?
Bravos.
Yeah,
Hodor.
Fucking hell, Katie.
she's good, isn't she?
Damn.
On fire.
In which King's Landing slum did Gendry grow up?
Flea bottom.
Hodor.
Fucking hell, there's no stuff in it.
Wow.
Jesus, man.
I'm
I
speechless.
take information in.
Yeah. What was the third word said in season 2, episode 4, Katie? No, I'm only joking.
Was it Hodor?
It was.
The ginger.
Oh my god, if I just guessed, you'd be like, fucking hell.
What is the official Lannister family motto?
They always
it's
pay
not.
their
It's not.
debts.
No.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, it is. A
No, it's
Lannister
not.
always
No,
pays
it's
his
not.
debts.
No,
Oh,
it's
What
not.
is, what is
I thought
it?
it was
Hang on,
in-
hang on.
oh.
What is it?
It's not.
Cal got it.
It's not. It's not that.
It is.
They are
It's
dead.
not. It's
Carl.
not. In episode 1,
Just saying.
right? He says, what's the official name for the Lannisters? And it's like, Lannister always pays the test. That's what people think it is,
Oh, all right.
but it's not.
Oh, well, I've got his website. I got these from.
Fuck that website.
Hear me roar. I think that's what it is.
What did you
Yeah,
say,
right,
Carl?
let's take it.
I said Lannister always pays their debts.
Yep.
Wrong.
That
Wrong.
is the official motto. That is the
It's
Lannister
not.
motto.
It's fucking not. I'm going to watch their first episode.
And what do you
Fuck.
say
You got
is
it
Mike?
right, Mike. It's fine.
I don't. Carl, I don't give a. Stop fighting me. He's not even. He doesn't even care.
Mike, what do you say?
I don't know
is?
what it is. I don't know what it is, but I remember that in the first episode, the guy says, "Oh, everybody thinks it's that because that's what everybody says, but the official one is something else."
Okay. All right. Well, maybe somebody can come back to us afterwards.
The real
Right.
motto is
Anyway.
incest rules.
Anyway, I'm running this quiz and Cal got it right. Right. So, what is the go-to anaesthetic for maesters across Westeros called?
Milk of the poppy.
Fucking hell!
Hodor.
Wow.
There's no
Katie was right, by the way. It is "Hear Me Roar." That's unbelievable. But the Lannister motto is "Hear Me Roar." I just googled it.
Lannister always pays their debt. Sounds a lot better.
Yeah. What were the first words King Robert said to Ned Stark in episode 1 of season 1?
He insults him or something, doesn't he? He says, "Oh, you fucking stupid old."
It does
fucking
insult
old.
him.
Northern bastard.
It does insult him. What
He calls
does
him
it say,
old,
though?
doesn't he, or something like that?
No.
Is it fat?
Oh. Yes!
Hodor.
Fucking hell, Katie. Got it again. You've got fat. That's the first thing he says to him.
And then he just looks at him like
Yeah.
pot and kettle.
Is that when he could? Is that when he couldn't get the armor on?
No,
It might
it's
be.
in the same season, but before that.
Ah.
I think I can say this for all of us that Katie actually is just answering for all of us.
It doesn't matter.
Sorry.
Yeah. She's a bit obsessed, isn't she? This one's an easy one. What is the name of the explosive that gave the Lannisters the edge in the Battle of Blackwater?
The snot.
Mean goo.
Looks like that.
Something. Oh God,
I thought that were
something
easy.
fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
The
It's the same
green-
colour as snot.
Yeah, that's what I call it. That's what I call it. Oh, it's the snot.
It's
Oh,
the
using
cat.
Oh God.
the what?
Go on, put him out of misery, Katie.
Wildfire.
Hodor.
Wildfire. Wow.
I was thinking quiet that time. I'm like, okay, I've answered too many questions.
Grievous bodily harm said you got fat, but that's not what it's called. It's called wildfire. But thanks for keeping up.
All right, a bit of Dothraki for you. What does Daenerys mean when she says "Shek ma Sheraki Annie"?
I need a massive shit.
When she says it to Khal Drogo.
I need a massive shit. Is there toilet paper left? I'm worried.
Have you stuck all
How
that
do you
gold
use
on
these
his
three
head?
Shells?
Yeah.
It's like I'll always love you or something. It's like something like that.
No,
but
Kate, you're close,
It's-
but it's no. It's I need that IKEA furniture putting together.
Am I actually going to stump you on one question?
No, I think Katie got it right. Didn't it? Was
No.
It's along the lines of I love
It's similar to that, but what's the
sun
little-
of my life or moon of my life.
Nephew
So
of my
close.
life.
So close.
No, I can't get it.
I think you're making a terrible mistake.
He was so.
It is. You were so close, Katie. It's My Sun and Stars.
Shit.
Ah, yes.
Shit in hell.
Wow.
Oh no! Actually, I think you're wrong, Mark. I think it meant I loved you in Aquaman.
Who said, "Someday I'm going to put a sword through your eye and out the back of
Arya?
your skull"? Yeah.
Hodor.
Who did she say that to?
Fuck knows.
A lot of people.
Yeah, she says it to everybody. She's like, "Oh, Arya, you're right. My name's Mike. So I'm gonna put a fucking blade in your head."
Yeah, and I probably already ruined the question because I played this sound clip. Who said, "You're shit at dying"? You know that.
The
It's the
hound.
The hound.
The puppy.
Yeah.
Hodor.
Look at us all chipping in. Go the hound. It's like we heard it.
We know. And boys and girls.
Name all of the Stark children of Ned and Caitlin,
Oh,
including the bastards.
the one that ran in
six
the
of them.
field and died.
Rickon.
Rickon.
Rickon,
The
yeah,
king of the
that's one.
north, the one who's in the bodyguard.
Rob.
Yeah, Rob
Yeah.
Stark.
Actually, one
Yeah.
of my favourite characters, actually.
Yeah,
What's
that's
His
two.
eyes.
Yeah, Arya,
Yeah, three.
Sansa.
Yeah, four.
Sansa,
John.
John.
Yeah,
Bran.
five.
Bran.
Brown.
Brandon. Yeah, six. That's all six.
There we go.
And the last question: And I love this scene. Whose skull was cracked like an egg by the mountain's giant hands?
Oh, that fucking old bloke.
No, he was
No.
He fought on behalf of Tyrion.
The guy that's going to be in a Star Wars show.
Oh God.
What was the character's name?
Oh, the Spanish cool dude.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah.
Is it Oberyn? Prince Oberyn.
Extra point if you get his surname.
He was so cool.
Martell.
Yay!
Oh,
Uncle
class.
Jesus.
It's that's one of the best scenes in the show.
Yeah.
So good. Because you're like,
You
he's
thought he'd
dead.
won it.
Just kill him. Just kill him. What are you doing?
It was
Don't
showboating,
get close.
wasn't he?
Don't get close.
Oh man, no. That's such a good scene.
That was a brilliant fight.
Yeah. Yeah, so well done, Katie, and some of you guys.
Yeah, Katie
Apologies.
completely led us through that, but we thought
I could do that again.
Me and Mark thought we'd keep you on your toes and just dropping a quiz in the middle of it. We had to do that. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, Katie, you did get a lot of them, but I had your back. Do you know what I mean? I had your back.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think we'll have. I think we'll fly through these now. Hopefully, it's section 4, the overall opinion of the show in one sentence. Katie?
I put an absolutely brilliant TV show that wasn't afraid to torment their viewers and put us on the most epic of roller coaster rides.
Fair enough. Carl?
Started well, brilliant characters and plots, especially in the first 6 seasons, but ultimately rushed and left me unfulfilled.
Sure, a lot of agree with that. I said it was a fantastic TV series which connected people from all over to have fantastic discussions, and I think it's done that for me in all situations, even at work. You know, I'll go in and people are just like, "Oh, Game of Thrones, you watch it," and it's. I think it's brought together a lot of people as soon as they hear that you're watching this program. Yeah, it's definitely connected people in that way. Mark?
Brilliant spectacle with great characters, amazing storylines, and does not pull any punches.
Brother?
Don't let the last bite spoil your meal.
That's something Tyrion would say.
Yeah. Don't let the last bite spoil your meal. Now, where's my fucking wine?
Greg?
Came in like a lion and left like a lamb.
Yeah, I do like that.
And Greg,
Was that your Tinder bio, Greg?
Yes.
Greg, if you could follow on and just summarize everybody else's opinions of the show.
I would love to. Ross said, should have been the greatest show ever, but let down by a poor last series. Rob, also known as Snoogans, he said, brilliant show, let down by rushing the end. Steve Allen said, escapism in its full CGI-induced glory. At Ultrasonic Master said, fight me and you'll lose then. I will raise you as my minions.
He's on crack.
Christian Barclay said, on course to be the greatest, but once they got ahead of the books, it felt rushed. Shell said, amazing story until the last season. I'm sensing a theme, by the way. Beth, one of the best TV shows in a long time, really original. Matt, bittersweet end to an iconic show that when you take the story in as a whole from the season 1 through 8, it's the best show on TV in my opinion. And finally, Gabriel at Sleeper Hit 79 said, ghosts got petted. All that matters.
I love that.
Thanks, Greg. Do you know what? With that accent, I loved the American accent, and I wish you could have just done the whole show. But one of them things you got to put in my Black Country accent. Right. Last section, rating of the show, and we're including the listeners this time because we're selfish when we do the Entertainers podcast every week. We just value our own opinions, but this time round we're including yours. So I'm just going to get the calculator out.
Oh wow!
Go, just to get the average on everybody's.
Everybody's.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna include everyone's. So, Katie.
I gave it a 9.5. If the ending didn't feel as rushed, then it would have been a solid 10 out of 10.
1.5. Okay. Carl?
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think it started really strongly. I thought it was great in the middle. I just think there was such a long gap before this season, and it was just a bit crappy in my opinion. But still great. So I don't regret watching it. 8 out of 10.
Okay, I'm going to say 9.5 out of 10. If it was closed off more clearly, not so rushed, and Aria had, I suppose, a better series, it would have been a 10. Mark?
I give it a 9 3/4. It would have been a 10, but like everyone else has said, the rushed final season stopped that. For up to that point, all the other seasons, there were epic moments in them, brilliant characters, brilliant acting. So yeah, it was so close to a 10.
Mr. Chin?
I was just wondering if Mark was in a fridge there.
It's, my wife's had to go on the nebulizer. Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah. So there's a joke that went south. Right, so
Yeah, you feel bad now, don't you?
No, my rating is 9.1254796382471. I think a 3. To put that in your averages, Pete. No, I'll give it a 9. It's a good show. The last season sucked, but it's a good show.
Fantastic. Okay, Greg?
Also with Mike on this, I would say a 9. Final episodes notwithstanding, this is some of the best TV in many years. It ranks up there for me with Sopranos and Breaking Bad.
Very something in common with The Sopranos, actually. When you think about it, that last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mike, read the rest.
So the other ones are Ross, a fellow ginger. Good for you, Ross. Well done. 8 out of 10. Ross gives it. Snoogans also gives it an 8 out of 10. Thank you, Snoogans. Steve Allen says 9 out of 10, and he puts an extra bit, as if we haven't fucking talked enough about this show tonight. He adds more. He says Arya's character is not fully played out. Thank you, Steve. Ultronic Master, the master of Ultron and stuff, says 10 out of 10. Sumu says the whole series 8.5, but this season he said 4. But we'll take the 8.5. Thank you very much, Christian. Andy Cox says, hi all. Here's my quick thoughts on Game of Thrones. Where were you at the start of the show, Andy? Where the fuck were you? Overall, a great show. Probably not the best show ever, but it's near the top. A fantastic story. Always managed to throw some great twists. The Red Wedding, the amazing scenes, Battle of the Bastards, and of course the 2 set piece from season 8. Some great deaths. Oh my God, it does go on. Come on, Andy. Deaths by moles and gold, especially. I think, though, that what it did best was left us with some of the greatest characters in TV. Arya, Bronn, Tyrion, Joffrey, Ramsay, and of course Sandor. Who the fuck is Sandor? Oh, the Hound Dog. Right. Who's the Hound Dog? What the fuck? Who's that? The Hound. What? Is that the Hound? Great. Never has the word cunt sounded as magnificent as when it was used. 9 out of 10. Cheers all, Andy. Tim Chopper Kelly says favourite moments of the Battle of the Bastards, Littlefinger's exposure, anything beyond the wall, and Ingrid and John's boingy boingy time. It was incredible.
Did you pull a knife on me in the night? What's the matter? Can't be the first time you press your bone against a woman's ass.
Yeah. Fun fact, she's actually very posh in real life. It was incredible, and I hope it opens the gates for more high-budget fantasy shows. Chopper Kelly gives it an 8 out of 10. My soon-to-be sister-in-law, Shell, I often joke if Pete and Shell split up, I'll keep Shell, get rid of my brother. Shell gave it a 9 out of 10. She said it would have been a 10 if the last season delivered. Nick says moments. He just said moments. Sounds like a chocolate bar, doesn't it? Moments. Lord Frey eating pie. Littlefinger exposure. Danny's response to the bells. 10 out of 10. Look, that's interesting, isn't it? Danny's response to the bells. That's one of the last season's moments. 10 out of 10, but only if you watch season 8 with the lights out. Beth says 9 out of 10. Matt says 10 out of 10. Edwin B says overall the last season 8.5 out of 10, but okay, 9.4 for the whole
Where
season.
was that 0.4 from?
I don't know. Like, I think it's 9.5 or 4. I can't sleep. Edwin, please, just make a
Pass.
decision and go to bed. You have to. I don't know if it's 9.4 or 5. God damn it. Bloody hell, Edwin, just fucking go to bed. And put your jeans back on. Right, okay. Old Tronic Master again for some reason.
No, hang on.
No,
No, that's it.
No, I'm
that's
just gonna.
the lot.
Okay, I'm like Ron Burgundy. I just
No,
keep
just stop.
stopped.
Stopped. Okay, so out of all of those scores, it equaled 162.65. We divided by 18. Our average nerd score for the whole series, TV show, with all the listeners and our co-hosts is 9.036111 reoccurring. So we'll give it a fat 9.
Nice.
There's no divine justice, you dumb cunt. If there was, you'd be dead.
There we go. So it's a big fat 9. And I think that's a healthy score for that TV series.
Grievous Bodily Harm has give it a 9.5. I only just spotted that piece. I'm sorry, I failed you.
No, it's okay.
Sorry,
we said Twitter.
Please, I'm sorry.
Twitter Tuesday night was going to be our final cutoff, and
Please, I'm sorry.
that's it. It's fine. It's all right, brother.
Okay.
I love you.
All right. Okay,
it's
fine.
too late.
No.
I got you back.
Sorry, Grievous Bodily Harm.
I got you back. Right. Okay. So, co-hosts, how are we feeling? Can we handle one more question?
Yeah.
I feel like we've just watched the whole of Game of Thrones.
I can handle more.
Okay.
One more question or two more?
Oh no, you're correct. Greg, well,
Greg.
as you read it so clearly, you go for it. Read it out.
All right, so at Ultronic Master.
This is Grievatronus in the chat.
Yep. Had two questions for the Game of Thrones podcast. What scenes/reunion ripped your heartstrings out the most? And who are your top 4 most hated characters?
Oh my God! You can't just throw a question like shit. Oh my God! You get a piece of paper out.
I look, the Red Wedding has to be everybody's most heart-wrenching scene.
Yeah, definitely, because they've just pulled a rug right out from under you.
Yeah.
It's Robb Stark at that point. I think was one of my favorite characters as well, which definitely didn't help.
And what a dish! Sorry, just me.
I guess another heartbreaking scene, or one that pulled at my heartstrings, was Stannis Baratheon burning his daughter. Like that.
Oh, yeah.
I hated that. I absolutely hated that, and I had to
that was tough to watch.
I had to put my fingers in my ears or mute the TV because all you hear is the screams, and it's.
I think one of my favourite moments, Casey, was the fall of Stannis, because he did that as a kind of like a last ditch effort, all right, and then he kind of realizes that it's all done, and he just knows he's done, and it's so fucking good. He's just fall.
Yeah, you just think you burned your daughter. But nothing.
You burned your daughter for fuck all.
Okay, let me throw this in here. What about Tyrion's girlfriend that had to go?
What you mean when he killed her?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, because you could see he loved her, but she betrayed him at that point.
I know, but he really, really loved her. I felt sorry.
Yeah, but wasn't she like doing it with the dad?
With the dad, yeah, and that was another epic moment when he shot his dad with the crossbow on the toilet. Yeah.
Mm.
I think Ned Stark getting killed was also a real heartbreaking moment for me, because I just thought for sure some way, somehow he was going to be saved. And all the way up saw the sword coming down. I'm like, he'll be saved. He's not going to die. It's okay. Nope.
Do you know another death that really shocked me was the woman that got thrown over that pit by Peter Baelish.
Oh, the aunt, the really crazy aunt that let her freaking
the
nephew.
breastfeeding a 15-year-old. That death was like, oh, shit, did that really happen?
Yeah. God,
I said the same thing about when I saw the kid sucking on her boob. I was like,
and then you see him in the last ever scene in the final season when they're all deciding who's going to be king. He's sitting there.
He is, yeah.
Yeah,
A lot,
and
a
I
lot
doubt
older,
it's the
but
same
yeah,
kid. But
it is.
it's,
No, it is the same kid.
Yeah, it
Same
is the
actor.
same one.
It is, and
Yeah,
and everyone was saying, I bet he's got a bottle under his chair
Mm.
with like breast milk.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Almost
shocked that
hated characters.
I like the cat. You know, cat when she died in the Red Wedding, because she
Oh.
kind of lived for a bit, right? Like she hid under a table, and I went, oh, here we go. Like, yeah, they've killed Rob, but they'll like she'll get away or some stupid shit, and then they just slit us out. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe not. She ain't coming back
And
from
they
that.
left that silence in after she slit the
Yeah, it's just
his
like
throat.
yeah, it's just a second too long, and you're like, oh my god, that's awful. Yeah.
So top 4 most hated characters. I can't think of. I could definitely think of 3. I think. Well, definitely. I don't know in what order, but Joffrey, Ramsay, they're definitely in there.
The best characters. They're the best characters.
Yeah, but most hate. I guess it's a question of like
Cersei.
you loved. That's it, Cersei. That was the other one I was trying to think of. Like Cersei, Joffrey,
Walder
and
Frey as well.
Ramsay.
Walder Frey were a twat.
Yeah.
I'd actually put Walder Frey instead of Cersei because
And
I
Bran.
really loved Bran. I really loved Robb Stark, and obviously Walder Frey was the reason why he died. So yeah, Walder Frey, Joffrey, Ramsay.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with that list. I think I might throw the uncle. I can't remember his name.
Euron.
Euron? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was a
Crazy.
bit of a
My Bran, because he's awful.
yeah, Bran. You know what? I'm with you.
Bran.
Just fuck that
I'm
guy.
going now. Fuck off, Bran. Just like,
Just go.
oh, you're having a meal. You're having a good time. Oh yeah, remember to that. Oh, Bran, can you pass the salt? Can I? Yeah, it's right.
Do you need
Bran,
the salt? Does
do
anyone
you-
need the salt?
Does anybody? Bran, I do need the fucking salt. You
I mean, I personally don't like Jon Snow.
Oh wow.
Especially on the end, the last season, I think he's not that great.
It was a bit wet in the
I
end.
think he's a real dull actor. He was the same. He was the same in Pompeii. It's almost like he was just put into a different universe. There could have been a sketch where there was a Doctor Who, the old Doctor Who, time
Yeah.
capsule thing, and he could have gone to a different universe and played another character in a different time zone, and he was exactly the same fucking person. It's as an actor, I find him really dull, and
It's very posh in real life.
well,
he
he
talk-
he might be, but he's shit.
He's also in rehab. In
Yeah,
real
he
life.
is. Yeah,
Yeah,
and for people going through that, I really do feel sorry for him that he's having to go through that in his personal life. But and I slate him as much as I do now as an actor. It just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Jon Snow, he wasn't one of my favourites. So
Little fact: he's married to the actress who plays Ygritte in real life. Just a little fact.
Rosie
Rosie. I
Les-
can't think of a fact.
Rose
Leslie?
Leslie,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Rosie and Jim. The other one is the other actor, the character that I didn't like is Recon, the most useless Stark in the whole show. Pretty much does fuck all the whole show, and then the only time he does anything is actually run, and he can't even do that. Get off the show, Recon. Is it Recon, Casey? Help me.
Rickon.
Rickon. Fuck you, Rickon. You're the worst Stark. Yeah, thanks for that.
And there's
That was
Danny's brother as well. He was.
No, but I like the bad characters, so that I'm picking characters that are like just useless.
I know, but you had to hate him at the same time as loving him.
No, I'd seen one of my favorite characters was the Battle of the Bastards dude, the guy.
Ramsay.
Well, I
Ramsay.
guess so.
Love
So here's a question. I mean, you could look at this question in two different ways. The 4 most hated, as in the 4 top villains, or the 4 like,
Yeah.
where
the characters that
just
I hate.
yeah, I didn't care for these characters.
That I hate. I hated Bran. Hated Rickon.
I didn't like Sansa for most of Game.
No, I don't think anybody did.
No, I
Anyone
thought
liked her.
better off without her for most of the episode. Then she came around to the end.
She was a bratty teenager at the start, and then at the end, she was just a bit of a knob.
Yeah, and I didn't like Littlefinger for periods of it, but then he was quite clever and quite intriguing at the same time.
You never know who to trust. Shut up. Like anybody who speaks like that is obviously a shady bastard. Like anybody would see him coming around a mall. Maybe you should give that to me. Like no, no, I won't, because you're obviously a criminal. Obviously.
Fair enough.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't like him. I'll put him down. Little finger. Twat.
All right. Okay. Well, Grievous, as Mike calls you, grievous bodily harm. Yeah.
You don't Google that, please.
I hope we answered your questions. So that's, I think, pretty much it as a show. We've been going for what, 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I think we've wrapped it up in a healthy time. So there we go. And contacts. All right, let's close it off. If you want to get in touch with us at Entertainerds, you can find us on iTunes or Podbean. You can just search Entertainerds. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Just search the handle at Entertainerds. We're on YouTube and Twitch, but you've got to search Entertainerds Podcasts because some little kid has stole Entertainerds, and we just can't get that name for some reason, but there we go. Email us if you want to. It's entertainerspod@gmail.com. You can also send a 90-second voice message, which is called a speak pipe. So if you go to speakpipe.com and search Entertainerds, you can send us a little message if you want to. We've also got other podcasts here joining us tonight. And the first one is the Overseas Connection podcast. And Greg, if you can give us a little bit of info about your podcast as far as contact.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Check out the Overseas Connection podcast. We're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on the Twitch.tv, we're on Mixer. Just come check us out on Sundays. Don't watch the Veteran Gamers, but watch us live instead. At the same time. But that's that. Yeah, at OC_podcast on Twitter. Check us out.
Thank you very much. My brother.
Hello.
My dear Mike Chin.
Mm-hmm.
You're part of the Veteran Gamers podcast, so give us your info.
Veteran Gamers podcast. We stream live every Sunday at 9 p.m. We're on Twitch and YouTube. You can download the podcast on any podcast app that you so desire. We also stream throughout the week, every Thursday at 7 p.m. usually, and all that stuff to other people. They're not as important as me. There you go. Veteran Gamers.
Okay, so shout out. Me personally, as I'm hosting the show tonight, I'd like to thank everybody for coming on to the show. Thanks for all the input from the listeners, the family, and fellow podcasting buddies. Mark, thank you for spinning the decks, giving us a quiz. I think you're all amazing. So thank you to contributing to our first Spoilercast show. We might start doing more of this. Whether it be movies or TV series, I think it's worked out quite well actually. So yeah, thanks ever so much. Have you guys got any shout outs before I finish the show?
Just everyone that sent in contributions, and obviously to the guests, Mark, Mike, and Greg for coming on.
Seconded.
Yeah, I will shout out the three of you from the Entertainers podcast because we appreciate being included. It definitely was fun. Much better than working, by the way.
Mr. Chin.
No.
Exactly. That's what I expected. Okay, so we will catch you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. where our normal Entertainers show continues, and we'll get to talk about the movie Rush, which we did say that we talk about this week. So we do apologise if that we've postponed the show for a week, but there we go. And all the other things that have been up to. So for now, it's a goodbye from Katie.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Carl.
Cheerio.
Goodbye from Mark.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Greg.
Ta-ta.
Goodbye from Mike.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from me. Close us off, Mark.
You forgot someone.
Love you, bye.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yo.
It's a wrap.
Damn it! I wanted to say as a shout. I should have used it as a shout out. Ramin Djawadi, the person who made the music in Game of Thrones, so good.
Oh yeah,
that last song what I've just played there.
I love that.
The final
piece.
episode. Oh, it's beautiful.
The Night King is something that he made. He made a song called The Night King, and it's when he's trying to kill Bran, and then he dies. I've been listening to that a lot. That song, I love that song.
That whole operatic bit, and then that's the one where Cersei blows up the church.
Oh yeah, the
piece as well.
something of the seven. Yeah. I love that one.
Yeah,
Excellent.
so good. Yeah, that was fun.
Sounded like it was, yeah.
Did we record it?
I recorded it, but Pete, you've recorded with Skype call, haven't you? Because I don't know if anyone else experienced it, but I had 3 episodes where Skype just blanked out on me for about 10 seconds.
No, I haven't recorded it.
Oh, you're joking?
No. I've got all of the Twitch stream, so I can just strip all the audio out of that.
Yeah. But yeah, I had 3. There were a part when Kate was talking, a part when Greg was talking, and a bit when you were talking. Skype just completely cut out, and then I had the reconnecting sound, and it connected back in. But I'll send you my audio recording anyway, just in case. But yeah, you might be better just ripping the Twitch audio.
Yeah, I might just do that then. All right, I think that went well.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Very
Just
well, yeah.
dissecting stuff and going over, and and at the end we got to kind of go down memory lane a little bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna say if we started talking about the full series as a whole, we could have been on for hours and hours because there were so many good moments in them episode in all the seasons.
Could start doing spoiler casts on Game of Thrones season 1, then season 2. Can't be here for ages.
Katie, I have to say your knowledge of Game of incredible.
I do. I am when I'm there when I love a show so much. I definitely take in a lot of the info and remember it quite well.
You did take in a lot of info. You took in all the info.
It was funny when I were on the Entertainers recently, and we were talking about Gladiator, and Pete kept calling Commodore or something, and Kate corrected him every time. It was so funny.
Well, it's one of them things. Me and Mike are big, massive fans of reading, and I took 2 dyslexic tests online, and it was showing on some parts of it that I was severe in something. So I reckon, Mike, have you took any?
Yeah, I took an official test. I went into a building and saw an actual person.
Was you severe with reading?
Severe with reading. Speaking aloud, memory was bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, she said you are technically classed. You can now be declared. Give you a little fucking badge. You are dyslexic.
Yeah.
And I went,
Can I just
yes?
Can I just say that Carl? We haven't realised Carl's Skype died.
Yeah,
So
I saw.
right now.
I thought
Oh, thank God.
had probably drank way too much during the course of the podcast and is like dying to go to the bathroom.
You mean I could have talked
I'm
about?
dying to go to the bathroom.
You mean I could have talked about Carl this time?
Yes. Yes, you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't fail you. It
was good. It was a lot of fun. Well done for organising it.
A little hostess with the mostess.
Yeah, I did enjoy. I mean, you completely failed, but it was fun regardless.
Yeah. Good.
Regardless of failures. No, that was great. It was fun. Thank you, Pete. I appreciate you inviting me.
That's all right. It's a pleasure. I'm glad that we could all connect. I'm sorry that the UK dudes are a little bit late at going to bed, but I'm on lates tomorrow, so I can get up.
Yeah, I don't start till 11 as well, so I'm with you, Pete. Fuck 'em all.
I do appreciate you guys staying up a little bit later to make this work.
That's cool.
Carl says to you in the chat, Mike, I'm here in the Twitch chat, Ginny. I'm no slagging me unless it's really fun.
Oh, shit. Oh, what a guy. What a guy. Yeah, oh, brilliant, isn't he?
Thanks.
Right,
now
I'm going to have to go because I need a wee so bad.
I know Pete and Mike are going to be out at EGX. Katie, are you going to be out at EGX this year?
I plan to be. Need to buy tickets for that. I need to, yeah. But I
just bought my tickets.
All right.
Definitely need to do that. But I've got a new job. I've got a new job, so I need to probably plan it around that.
Yeah, book it on.
Katie, just fucking book it.
Cool.
I look forward to meeting both of you guys. So there you go.
Sweet.
All right. Well, thanks ever so much, everyone. Let's speak soon.
Yeah.
Bye. Take care.
See ya. Bye.
you.